As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a LaserDisc collector. Ever tell you about my boss, Ryan Cushing? Ryan might have changed discs slow, but it was only because Ryan didn't have to change discs for anybody. What's up, Ryan?
Thank you for that wonderful intro. I was waiting for you to throw me a loop, and you got me there. Tonight's podcast is again brought to you by Seaforce, the official water of the LaserDisc Wolfpack.
Ooh.
And now I'll pass it off to Maxeene.
Well, I don't know nothing. I don't see nothing. I don't hear nothing. When I do, I don't tell the cops, understand?
Good on.
I'm here in an undisclosed location for secret purposes. Your LaserDisc queen is safe. The goods.
Excellent.
Safe. I'll pass it to Vinnie.
When I say it, that means good evening. I'm only here because Ryan made me an offer I couldn't refuse.
As he does. And I'm Sam Hatch. I'm that guy. I'm sponsored, as always, by Kylo Ren tumbler full of water.
Ooh.
So, yeah. Hopefully you enjoy that. In case you didn't guess already with the slightly veiled gangster talk, we're going to be doing some gangster LaserDisc action tonight. So, it's been a long time coming. We got to do top 5 organized crime / gangster films, which is... it brings up some opportunities to break out and do something different. I was even toying with the idea of throwing in some Japanese Yakuza films or some Chinese triad films, but I decided to stick with American, either Irish gangsters, Italian gangsters, what have you. So I'm going to throw down my top 5 and then we'll move on from there. All right. Number 5. We're going to go with an adaptation of an adaptation of an adaptation. We're going to go with Last Man Standing, which is not that great of a film. I mean, it's a loose adaptation of a much better film called Yojimbo, which is also inspired by Dashiell Hammett's Red Harvest. And this was also repurposed into another better film than the Bruce Willis one, A Fistful of Dollars. But Last Man Standing is a LaserDisc staple because it's a really affordable DTS disc and the sound is incredible. Bruce Willis isn't quite the enigmatic leading man that, Toshiro Mifune is, or Clint Eastwood, but he still, does a good job, and it's got everybody and their mother in here. What has it got? Walken, it got David Patrick Kelly. Who else in there? Bruce Dern in there too. Yeah, it's Walter Hill film, so it's lots of gunplay and lots of action, and it's worth having on LaserDisc, especially DTS. You got to get the DTS one. Number 4. Oh wait, I lied. We're going out of America.
Well, you just held up 3 discs, so we're going to count that as one.
Yeah, that was Last Man Standing.
He's using the Spencer counting method.
Yeah.
It's like the same story.
Right.
Yeah.
It's cool.
We're going with the Crays. But Reggie and Ronnie Cray, some crime bosses from good old England, and a really interesting film. Was it Peter Medak did this? And written by Philip Ridley, who did one of my favorite films, The Reflecting Skin. Really interesting stuff. It's really more about the women in these gangsters' lives and how they have to deal with basically grown-up children essentially, and how this life is essentially like having a sort of stunted growth, and these guys are just really, really nasty characters, and it's fun. It's good stuff. It does have some American gangsters coming to visit and doing some business with them as well. So
sounds like one of my movies.
Yeah, really good.
I learned about the craze from a lyric in a Morrissey song.
Ah, yes.
Where he mentions Reggie Cray, and I looked it up, and that's how I learned about the craze. And then that movie came out, and then Tom Hardy remade that film, which I haven't seen,
which is good. Yeah, and Hardy plays both brothers in there too. So, number 3. This is probably going to be on Vinnie's. Miller's Crossing?
No, I would say you failed to mention where the craze, what their day job is. The actors who were in the craze.
Oh yeah, the Spandau Ballet brothers, the Kemp brothers. Sorry, let's bring them back. Sorry.
I'm sorry, that's a pretty cool claim to fame. You're in Spandau Ballet and that movie. It's cool.
Yeah, and they're good too. All right, so moving on. To Miller's Crossing.
Nice.
Albert Finney in here, John Turturro, John Polito, and of course Gabriel Byrne. A good, essentially similar to Red Harvest, in which characters are all kind of double crossing and pulling moves on one another and trying to jockey for power, and really, really good stuff. Italian mafia versus Irish mafia, and violent and good. And this is the nice widescreen edition that got dropped a little bit later. What year was this? 96, 97. So Coen Brothers. Number 2. We're going to have to go pretty mainstream. Got to go with Goodfellas. I mean, this is in everybody's collection that you buy off of Craigslist, so I'm sure you have a copy of it if you've ever bought LaserDisc. This didn't get reissued a lot on LD or anything, but for what it is, early 90s Warner release. It's a nice widescreen version, and seminal picture. I'm sure we're going to be hearing more about this as we go. But good fellas. And number 1, I cheated. We're going with the Godfather trilogy box that is re-edited. It's not as good a viewing experience as watching the films proper, but in terms of LaserDisc, this is a real iconic LaserDisc. There's another version called the Epic that is the first 2 films re-edited, and there's a few different versions of it. It was aired on television back in the 70s, and then there was a shorter version that was dropped on video, and there's a Japanese LaserDisc box of that. But this was a 90s version, which re-edits in the 3rd film as well. But it's got this gorgeous kind of inlaid filigree kind of style there, and it's got the 73-minute documentary about the making of the film as well, and it's just nice stuff. And it's limited, signed, numbered, all that kind of stuff. It's not really signed, it's just numbered.
What number do you have?
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of LaserDisc, it's not widescreen. It doesn't have AC3 like the later ones do, but I mean, it's kind of like an essential LaserDisc moment for me. So that's my number 1. What do you got, Ryan?
Well, I thought we were doing Rotarian, so this is going to be awkward. But no.
Do they have Rotarian gangster movies?
We'll have to find out.
All right.
So this is not my wheelhouse. I learned that I like some of these movies, they are longer than my attention span, which is in that like sweet 88-minute spot for explosions and mindless violence and slashing and everything else. But I did pick a few, and there are a few that I actually rewatched recently just to really make sure I liked them. First of which, Donnie Brasco. I really like this. I think Johnny Depp does a really good job of kind of fitting in with the rest of these guys, and you see him struggling and learning, and it's a pretty cool story, and it's based on a true story. So I really enjoyed it. The transfer's not bad either. It is a DADC pressing, so watch out. Mine was good all the way through, and then the dead side, which has like this is the wrong side on it, was rotted to hell. So just it's
don't pay too much.
Yeah,
it's got the odd widescreen banner on the bottom.
I know that's very
That's really strange.
Columbia.
I feel like there's a couple other ones like that. That's so weird.
Yeah,
considering a format that's basically shelved, so you flipped over the top.
Yeah.
definitely.
Goofballs.
Another one I watched recently, The Untouchables. This one is really good. You've
Is
got
that Stealth AC3?
That is definitely. It's actually printed on the back there. It's
So that was
not
for
even-
Peter.
I know. They're not even hiding it though. But no, this is the remastered widescreen later release. This one's hard to find, but when it pops up, it's super cheap. Like mine was, I think, $13 shipped. So again, just set an alert. Like a really good film, really, really good pressing, transfer, and we've got Billy Drago in it. So
Hell yeah.
yeah. Now, I couldn't not have a top 5 without putting in a little bit of Broterian.
Ooh, look at you.
This is just great. I mean, this
Gangster
is
right in the title.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
exactly.
think that's
So
the first one so far. Yeah.
you've got the young gangsters that just want to shoot up and live the hood lifestyle, and they don't have any respect for the city and the place they're from. And so these the old OGs come in and they clean them up, and it's just great because you've got Fred Williamson, Jim Brown, Pam Grier. It's perfect, and lots of killing and violence, and it's really good, and it's actually really cheap and widescreen, like a widescreen Broterian. Kind of hard to find, but they do exist.
That's a Wolfpack favorite too. That
It
should
is
be
a
on our
Wolfpack
top 10 list or something.
Yeah, it's on the website.
Yeah, we should get our website up.
Yeah. And then I'm going to cheat a little bit on this one. This is just a great movie.
I thought of that.
That was a good cheat. I like that one.
I know that it focuses on him, and he's a hitman for organized
The Italian
crime.
mafia.
Yeah. So like he's technically part of it, but it's more about their relationship and her getting her revenge. And this pressing is the pressing to find. Save up. The US one's a rotter anyways, and it's shorter and just really doesn't explore the dynamic like this does. So go out of your way and get this integral version, and it's just a great movie.
It's integral. I mean,
Yeah.
it tells you.
Yeah.
Right on the cover.
I think on the back it actually says something about, one unique goal, to spend more time with Leon and Matilda. Like,
Nice.
it even just gives it away. But no, it's definitely a better cut, and it flows well. The U.S. pressing in the original like U.S. release version it's a little choppier. It really doesn't have the dynamic, and I think it's because they cut it down to hit that like 96 minutes instead of letting it flow for another 20 minutes. And then number 1, this is every collection. I mean, if you don't have a copy and you want a copy and you have any kind of used video store that has LaserDiscs, $2.99. $2.99. If you pay any more, $3.99 shipped. No.
Yeah.
And the pressing's good, and Joe Pesci is fantastic. So and everybody else is too. Like, I think in terms of just a great ensemble and hitting at the right time, it's a great movie. So. All right, I'm going to pass it off to Maxine here.
All right, what do you got?
I've got a few different ones, which I'm glad I did. Okay.
I don't have that one.
Nice.
Is as it says, it like in the style of Airplane. So this is a very interesting take on just like it was very funny and crazy, and I didn't read this tagline until afterwards, so I had no expectations of it at all. And then when it was just like this like klutzy kid, like, but in like the era of the early Godfather time in Italy, and it's like, just really slapstick things, like they hide him inside of a donkey, and then they like he gets thrown out of the donkey, and then he's like, I had a hat, and then the donkey spits the hat out, like, and it's just like and then there's a kid with like a crutch, and it's like, but suddenly he's like Tiny Tim, and there's also like Forrest Gump references. It's all over the place. It was really enjoyable and just crazy, and I loved it. And
Nice.
I feel like this is gotta be Stealth HC3. I mean, look how tiny that is.
Wow.
But it's it's one I don't see very often, and
No.
I was glad I watched that. It it was way better than I mean. I had no expectations, but it was better than I thought it might be.
Nice.
So now this one, I don't know what happened to my freaking letterbox pressing, so I'm about to show.
Ah,
But this, I love this one. I mean, it's hard to even say anything that people don't. I mean, like, if you haven't seen this movie, like, where have you been? It's long. I know it's long, but it's so worth it. The soundtrack is incredible. Like, freaking Michelle Pfeiffer is incredible.
yeah.
Frank is the best. I love Frank. And I mean, obviously Tony, but this is a remake, obviously. I mean, some people don't know that, I guess, which is weird too, but it's the better of the remakes, I think. I did watch the other Scarface, so I did like this more, but I did like the other Scarface too. But it's just, yeah, it's just a crazy freaking 80s, like, just Miami, just freaking amazing.
Yeah. Signature collection's kind of tough to find too, if you can get that.
You know, I just
Forgot there was one.
Yeah.
I thought I had the letterbox, so now I'm gonna have to go look and see what the heck happened to my letterbox. So I'll be having a letterbox one.
Ah,
Oh yeah.
I thought of that one. But
I rewatched this. This was much better than I remembered it being. And it just like as the credits were coming up, I'm like, Laughlin Boyle, like, you know, like what? Everyone's in this. Like, there's so many people in this, and it was just like, I mean, Richard Greco, it, like, freaking so many. Patrick Dempsey, obviously, and Christian Slater, obviously, but like, this was just like, this was really enjoyable, and I feel like this is kind of not that expensive or not that hard to find. Maybe I'm wrong. I've found this plenty of times. But, this was really good, and I mean, I love Christian Slater, but like him as like, you know, crime boss. The only thing I'll even be nitpicky about is them playing their younger selves, and then just like 5 seconds later, it's suddenly 5 years later, but they look identical. They're just wearing hats now.
Yeah.
Like that's
young
why.
Tommy Guns. That's what I like to call that one.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and I liked the hired killer guy. Cole, I forget his last name, but he had some good lines that had me cracking up. Number 2, hands down, Nebraska. I just like, there's so many lines from this, I mean, him in the airport, and he's having to like cover, you know, because the guy's like pretending like, why don't you recognize me? He's like, dude, I'm freaking undercover right now, and I can't tell you why. And so he like kicks him, and he was like, the guy like grabbed my cock, you know. I'm like, just so many things about this movie. I love his accent that he does, and he's just like, what? Like, fucking forget about it, you know? Everything, forget about it, fucking forget about it, you know? But it's just, I mean, this is a staple, I feel like. If you're gonna, I mean, Al Pacino's great in this too. I love his, you know, he's really good in this, but Johnny Depp for sure just steals it for me. And I mean, there is literally not a day that I run errands and not think about this movie.
Might run the table. This is probably
Yeah. It's gonna be a sweep.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's so good. It's like the soundtrack just works with everything that happens, and just like, I literally, every time I'm running errands, I'm like, okay, I gotta do this and then run back and throw the sauce, and then it's like, oh, this is gonna be following me. It's like, well, you know, because it's just, errands are stressful, and like, you know, I think of him all the time. Whenever I have a stressful day of errands, it's freaking, I'm thinking this film, and it's like,
Like it.
so good. It's so good. I mean, obviously, Joe Pesci is out of control in this movie, but I mean, Ray Liotta laughing is my favorite too.
Yes.
And, like in that scene just with the table, and oh, of course, obviously the scene where they walk through the freaking back door, and it's that long,
The steady cam shot. Yep.
legend.
Yep.
And agreed. This should absolutely be in almost anybody's collection, because it's like right in that sweet spot of where most everybody probably got this on sale, either at the or like when it was out. So it's just like, it would be really hard to not have a copy of this. I feel like you'd almost have to be intentionally not,
You have to go out of your way to not have it.
you know, like you'd have to literally omit it from every lot you've ever gone to and say, no, thank you, I'm good. But it's like, impossible. It's impossible. So yeah, I mean,
There are bad comments and there are great comments.
Yep.
yes, this is the great comment for sure. But yeah, anyone that hasn't seen this, why? Please watch this now.
Just stop. Yeah, turn us off.
Yeah.
Watch it and come back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, finish the live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send some super chats.
Yes. But freaking Goodfellas, forget about it.
Nice.
Vinny?
All right.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're gonna have some repeats, that's for sure. Where am I gonna
That's cool
start?
though. I mean,
Let me do the repeats first. Get those out of the way.
All right.
Unfortunately, Sam, not as cool as you. I've got the lousy pan and scan.
but still, props for
166 to
choosing it.
1. Yeah, it's really, now it's just part of my Coen Brothers display essentially. Yeah, just amazing. This such an iconic scene. When you can put the most iconic scene in the movie on the cover,
Yeah.
you've shot a great scene. Referenced recently in season 2 of Fargo, the TV show. There was a nice little callback to the scene where they take one of the characters out
Nice.
into the woods to get rid of them. But Turturro's scene here is just a tour de force, just incredible. Yeah, so can't say enough about that. Of course, I also cheated on this.
Nice.
Yeah.
But this was probably like the second or third, when I first got into the group, I'm like, all right, I got to get these 1 or 2 things, get Star Wars and get this, and then I'll be done. I'm not done, but this is a must own. You really don't call yourself a collector unless you have this on your shelf. It's a nice thing to show off to people who really don't give a crap about your Laserdiscs.
Oh yeah, didn't open mine up, so there you
Yeah,
go.
I'm
Show
at
it to people.
1506. What's your number?
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm 1506.
Oh, that's a cool.
And a great little booklet with it.
Oh, I'm high. I'm 4383.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
Cool.
Maybe they made 5,000.
probably.
Annotated
yeah.
script notes. They got this little like cellophane in here.
Yeah, it's like a
Really-
vellum paper thing.
Yeah, I don't know what this retailed for when it came out,
A lot.
but you can get them for probably 50 to 75-ish now.
I guess my only complaint is that the outer cover starts to separate from the
Yes,
box
totally.
after time.
Yeah, it's not strong enough. There's too many discs in there. But as Sam said, don't watch it this way. This is good to watch
Yeah.
after you've seen it a
Yes.
number of times, but do not make this the first viewing of it because you're watching De Niro do an impression of someone you haven't seen yet.
Yeah, it's weird.
So that's awkward. Yeah. But the documentary on it is one of sort of the first docs I remember seeing, like a real deep dive into the making of a movie, and it's really, really well done. This
Retailed
one
for $200.
Wow. Okay. Bugsy.
Ah, nice.
So mobsters, but truer to the life of Bugsy Siegel. Barry Levinson directed this, 1991. So this was a year after Goodfellas. So after Goodfellas came out, I figured, why would anyone make another gangster movie? Like, why even try it? It's like making a World War II movie after Saving Private Ryan. But people always find a way, and that's what's so great about Brasco and even Carlito's Way. There was a nice little twist on the genre, and this was a nice sort of classic Hollywood, straightforward telling of the rise of Bugsy Siegel and also the birth of Las Vegas as a city.
Yeah.
You don't realize how gangsters essentially just built that entire city from nothing, literally in the desert. I have not seen this disc in a while. I don't remember if the transfer is good, but it is widescreen.
It's Columbia, so is it a rotter?
yeah.
Or?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm going to find out. Ennio
Yeah.
Morricone score,
Nice.
really classy. This, of course, they're still together, right? Yeah, Benning and Beatty.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and Beatty's really underrated actor, director. He's and producer. So always like to watch him do stuff. So this is a shock for me because I only had like a lot of those. I don't have Donnie Brasco. I have the Untouchables, but I sort of eliminated it because I thought it's more Elliot Ness's story than
That's why I kicked it
Capone's
off of mine
story.
too.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And then the only other one I had, I think, was State of Grace, which is great as far as, great. It's basically Mean Streets with, Gary Oldman doing the De Niro part. But it's a great, modern day Irish mob movie. But then the only other one I realized I hadn't seen. And the other day, Luke mentioned it. And I thought, maybe I'll just watch it as warm up to this show. And it blew me away. So it's sneaking into the 5.
Oh,
Long Good
snap.
Friday. This is really amazing. 1980, Bob Hoskins is sort of a, London gangster, big time, but not big enough, right?
Yeah.
He's running sort of the London side of the English mob there, and he's trying to work his way up and do this big deal with an American mafia guy who comes over to sort of see his business and invest in this big plan of his.
So that's what you were mentioning when I was talking about the craze. All right.
Yeah, exactly. And
right.
while he's there, it all takes place basically across this one day. It's Good Friday, and all these things start to go wrong for his crew. He gets mixed up in this IRA turf war. And the music is incredible. And as I'm watching it, it reminded me so much of Miami Vice. I would have to think, I haven't done any research on it, but I got to think Michael Mann saw this movie, because it feels like a great episode of Miami Vice. The
Nice.
clothing, the music, the synth score. Helen Mirren talking about, you talk about the craze being about the women, she's essentially babysitting him too, because he's kind of a big dope. And she's got to reel him in front of these, Americans. She's great. It might be the first appearance of Pierce Brosnan. Brosnan's in a couple of scenes.
All right.
Also,
Nice.
Steve Coogan is in a scene. But yeah, I can't recommend it enough. And Ryan, it's definitely the closest you'll get to Criterion. It's only 116 minutes, but it flies by. Nice single disc Criterion, highly recommended. Long Good Friday.
Sweet.
And then
I prefer Bob Hoskins as Mario.
Is that a gangster movie too? It must be, right?
I mean, they're Italian
Waste
brothers.
Management.
Yeah.
Picked out the Japanese one.
Ooh,
just
look
to
at
shake
you.
things up a
Flex.
bit.
Japanese flex.
Yeah, I've got Scorsese complete, as they say.
Yeah.
Not every version, but just about. And this has a really cool gatefold. I'll open up. These Japanese jackets are so amazing, sturdy. There's the and it's got an
Warner
insert.
Brothers cheaped out over here. No gatefold.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it's the quintessential gangster movie. I don't know if there's another genre where you could just pick out, like, obviously The Godfather as well, but this, if you didn't know anything about the mob and you just showed someone Godfather in this, you're basically done.
Yeah,
and that's all you need, because you get sort of both sides. It's sort of the glamorized side and the not so glamorous side. And I can now show you my T-shirt that will mean something, I assume, to most people who've seen the film.
Yes.
So this is the painting that Joe Pesci's mother, played by Scorsese's mother, holds up at their lunch right after they've killed Billy Batts. And it was actually a painting by Nick Pileggi's mother that she made from a photo she saw on National Geographic. It's really random. But yeah, so I had to get that shirt. So there you go. So that's a clean sweep, right? 4 number ones.
I mean, that's got to be Goodfellas.
Yeah,
is the winner.
You can argue The Godfather for sure.
Yeah,
but it's 2-3 movies. There's a lot of different versions, but this is just plain and simple. There's only been one. This was the one you need.
Yeah, good point.
Palatable to people too, just the length and the action.
Yeah,
Clarity.
and quoted every day. I was watching a show with my kids on like Nickelodeon, and in the show they're doing a riff on the spider scene.
Yep.
And I stop. I'm like, are they really doing that? And of course, kids have no idea what they're doing. But
Sure,
it's funny.
yeah.
It's still, and it's still to this day being used as a pop culture reference for people who weren't even alive. So pretty amazing.
Heck yeah. All right. Excellent choices, everybody. We do have an absentee write-in from our buddy Peter, who we've been talking about doing mob movies, for quite some time. And he was one of the prime kind of, motivation members to get this whole thing going. And then, something happened. He's got to go on a flight to Florida and do a thing. And I don't know what.
Take care of a thing.
Yeah, he's got to take care of a thing.
Hold somebody over the lion cage.
I hear he paints fences. I don't know what's going on. So he couldn't be here with us, but we did tell him to write in his absentee list. Ryan, do you want to read them or should I read them?
I think you've got it in front of you. I don't.
All right, fair enough. All right, his list. We made fun of him for his list because it's pretty basic. But number 5 is he's doing a Coppola Scorsese tennis. Number 5 is Godfather 3, which threw a lot of people for a loop. Yeah, but
Do we want to talk about 3?
I mean,
I
Not yet.
defended 3 for a while.
sure, yeah,
Yeah, it's really just it's 2 casting decisions away from being really good.
yeah. I still have never seen the theatrical cut, and I still haven't seen the new Coda cut. I've only seen
Right.
the final director's version that was released on home video.
Yeah,
Supposedly the Coda version is even better, but
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
they still, unless they put Duval in there and digitally erase Sophia, it's not going to be perfect. But
There you go. So then number 4 was Casino, which nobody else had. And speaking of Vegas,
yeah,
that's that might be in my top 10.
it's
But
not my favorite Scorsese. I guess at the time it felt like Goodfellas retread.
yeah,
Just meaner and bloodier.
yeah, the Sharon Stone De Niro relationship really kind of pulled it down for me a little bit. Yeah, it was just it was just like being in a room with your parents yelling at each other through most of the movie. So I don't know. So number 3 was Godfather 2, The Godfather Part 2. Sorry. Number 2 was Goodfellas, and number 1 was The Godfather. So there you go.
Ryan, I know you watched them recently. Did you watch them? But you watched them in order or the wrong way?
I watched the box set,
The
we just showed.
AC3 box set or
No,
the
no,
one we
no.
had?
the 1901 to 1980.
Oh, dude, that
okay.
you saw them the first time that way?
Yeah, that's what I was
wow.
watching. And man, like the box set's good, but there's like no title sequences to tell you when it's like moving.
Yeah.
And so it's a little hard to follow at times because like you're like boom into the next thing. You're like, wait, I just went forward or back in time
Right.
and nothing told me. I just had to figure it out because the different people are the same people. And it's like even just like a simple title sequence. And there were a couple times it changed times and I didn't quite get why, other than they were trying to like set something else up, but it didn't really. You're like trying to figure out what the timing is, and so you can't watch
that's why
it
that's
first.
made for advanced Godfather.
Yeah, that's like second viewing. And I have some thoughts on Sofia Coppola and the whole cousins thing.
All right.
Rough.
Yeah, so we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, I'll be chatting some Godfather again a little bit later too. All right. So you guys ready for a wolf pick?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. All right, get ready. We're going to do, I think I know what Maxine's answer is going to be already, but we're going to go Pacino De Palma versus Pacino De Palma. Scarface, and it could be either the Pandascan one or the Letterbox one or the Signature Collection versus Carlitos Way. So get ready. Simmer on that for a second. I'm going with Scarface just because of the Miami-ness of it and how much it hews close to the vibe of Miami Vice, the Giorgio Moroder score and just, the excess of it all. And it's long, but it just sucks you in and it's got the chainsaw scene, which is amazing. And he says yayo all the time, which is great. I don't know why, but it is. So that's mine. What about you, Ryan?
One of them has a DTS soundtrack, and one of them doesn't.
Yeah,
and it also happens to have a way cooler name. Carlitos Way is a way cooler name.
But it doesn't have a signature collection.
That is true, but DTS trumps signature in terms of sound quality.
Is that an official metric? Yeah,
I think it is.
Okay.
I mean, there might be a few exceptions here and there, but I think in general. Yeah,
but did it have a disco score?
I'm okay with it not having a disco score.
Oh, well. All right. I respect your option.
How about you, Max?
I have Carlitos Way on my list. I haven't seen it yet. I had so many that I had wanted to watch, and that was one of them. But man, I will absolutely go with Scarface because I'm a huge Michelle Pfeiffer fan anyways.
Nice.
Anything else to do with that movie. And just like so many scenes, just him like, you like me in the hat? He like pulls the hat on. He's like in the most ridiculous car too that she would never drive in.
Yep.
She's so above that. And obviously, Chi-Chi get the yayo. So
Get the yayo. Excellent.
I am going to go with Carlitos Way. Scarface is probably the most salacious movie I remember seeing at an inappropriate age.
Yes.
And that was on all the time, and it was just something you always watched. It was more than, it was sort of, its reputation was just sort of beyond the movie.
Yes.
And as I aged, I realized that it's not quite great. You know what I mean? It's super campy in a way and very pulpy. I just think Carlito's was so unexpected. Pacino gets to be, he has some great outbursts, some great classic lines, but he's almost a little more restrained and subtle, which is better Pacino, I think. And then you get the greatest hair of all time in Sean Penn. It's amazing. And it's funny, I was listening to a podcast recently about sort of Oscar do-overs, and one of the biggest snubs maybe of all time is Pacino losing Best Actor in Godfather 2, and it's one of the greatest performances ever filmed.
Yeah.
And they were talking about what happens, like in what's the butterfly effect if Pacino does win? Does he become sort of the Pacino we get later? Does he, or where does his career go? I don't know if it's much different necessarily, but he gave this performance that's just is all interior and subtle, and then he became this guy who just screams everything he says.
It is amazing.
And why did that happen? You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't work for a good 3 or 4 years there in the 80s. And when he came back, you had Sea of Love and some other, and this. So such an interesting career, but to be in so many quintessential gangster movies, maybe more than De Niro in a way. Made better ones, right? De Niro's got Mean Streets and Goodfellas and Godfather, but so does Pacino have Godfather and Carlito and Donnie Brasco. Heat is a crime movie, not a gangster movie, but it'd be interesting to see what would have happened if he had won that Oscar. But he lost to Art Carney, which is a fiasco. But
no offense to Art Carney, but
but Harry and Tano, guy and a cat. I'll go Carlito. So that's a split. I don't have it. I have the regular Scarface widescreen, but I don't have the Carlito DTS.
And I don't have the signature Scarface yet either. So I need to get that.
And I have never seen Last Man Standing for some reason. So maybe if I could grab a cheap DTS, I'll give that a shot. Yeah,
it's for some reason it's always, I bought my copy from Ken Crane's when they were having their blowout. So it was maybe $10 at the most. Yeah. And it's insane sound quality. So definitely recommend checking that out.
And at the time, was DTS, did people know, was it as revered as it is now?
Yeah, interesting. But just because LD was kind of on the wane, it just, because widescreen review were just freaking out over it and leading up to the releases. And it was just because it was coming out at the wrong time. Yeah.
Right.
It was one of the early DTS, like 97. So there were a lot of that one too. So that helps.
I got out right before that wave. So I didn't have any real life experience with finding a DTS.
Yeah, if I can go back in time, I would definitely be hitting up all those clearance sales at Ken Crane's because it was all DTS and box sets and things that they pressed decent amounts of, and then there was nobody to buy because everybody jumped over to DVD. All the hardcore home theater guys made the move. So stuff was just languishing on shelves. And that one and Great Expectations is always super cheap too.
That was my first one, and it really impressed me. And that's without a lot of action. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of mood and rain and interesting soundscapes. But anyways, we're talking about gunfire and things like that.
Yeah.
The last wolf pick that we threw out to the kids on LDF came in. It was a Prince. It was a soundtrack film combo. Prince with his Batman soundtrack and the film Batman on LaserDisc versus Purple Rain on LaserDisc and the Purple Rain soundtrack. And Batman won by 6 votes. So it was 35-29 was the final tally. So.
Wow.
Congratulations to Prince for beating Prince and Batman for beating Purple Rain.
I think it's just the overall effort is there. Whereas like Purple Rain, that movie's rough.
And the LaserDisc is nothing special. So whereas Batman, you get both.
Exactly. You got a sweet, letterbox LaserDisc, and it's a really killer release. So let's do some pickups, everybody.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Recent pickups. First things first, I'm going to move out of the disc territory and show you the final piece of the puzzle I was waiting for. The Eval board. I got this little controller. It's just
Nice.
three buttons. One fires the thrusters, and one fires the oil spray, the slick out of the back, and then one sends the video to the eval board. It's got a bunch of stuff on here that I don't even use, like USB and phone jack. It's got HDMI on the back here, and so all sorts of cool stuff going on. But yeah, I just connect this to the eval board, and when you turn it on, it automatically sends the little Raspberry Pi inside, sends the script, so I don't have to have a laptop sitting in my room, because Vinnie feels my pain. Peter was always telling us to get an eval board, and I'm like, I'm not going to set up like a computer workstation in my room every time I want to watch a LaserDisc. So this was the solution that Steve Sergeson from LDF came up with. He made these little custom boxes, and unfortunately, it was going to turn into this little cottage industry for him, but then the suppliers of the eval board decided that they were going to no longer allow regular schmucks like myself to buy them because you need to have an HDMI adapter license now to purchase them. So he still had one sitting around, and I bought it off him. So
how do you get a license? What is this?
Spend $10,000.
Because there's two levels. There's the HDMI like official licensee, and then there's the adapter. So that one's a little bit cheaper, I guess, but it's still, you have to pretty much be a full business to have that. And the idea is that you have the board and you use it to design your new product and all that stuff. And
I see.
And not just use it as a LaserDisc enthusiast. So, but yeah, thanks to Quozo for hooking me up with an eval board, and then Stephen for hooking me up with the controller. So now I am good to go. So we'll be probably talking eval a little bit later. But I had to get some discs too, including AC3 Untouchables. Yeah,
Yes.
baby. I had to get this. There is another, fairly nice letterboxed edition, but you got to go for the AC3 Dolby Digital version that came out a few years later. What year was this? 98. So yeah, good stuff. And again, this was gonna be on my list, but I did the same thing. It's I try to do films on my list that were more about the organized criminals and not so much about the cops trying to catch them or the feds. Then I got more from Sealed Elite LaserDiscs guy. I got Prom Night, which is very nice. A single disc release, and let's see if we can focus here. Yeah, nothing really extra wise, but it's got a television spot and a theatrical trailer on there. But just great Elite release, and some Hammer action, The Witches with Joan Fontaine, widescreen edition. I had a this is like a cooperation with Anchor Bay, and I had the Anchor Bay VHS copy for the longest time. So this is actually a step up, and I believe it's 1.66 to 1. So yeah, a little bit of letterboxing. Nice Hammer collection.
Oh.
And shout outs to Luke. He sent this to me quite some time ago, and the USPS ate it, much like they ate that controller box that disappeared off the grid for a long time. But he had picked this up when he was still stationed in Japan. As a big thrash metal fan, I had to get Anthrax Attack of the Killer videos. Interesting release, because it's on the back, it only shows like 3 videos, and it's really more of a like a behind the scenes tour mini movie, basically. And I looked at the time, and it's about half an hour, so it's not extremely long, but it's if it was just 3 videos, it'd be over in a couple minutes. There's really only one video, which is Bring the Noise with them and Public Enemy. There's also another version, which is pretty much the on-scene photography of them filming it, which is actually even kind of better than the final video, because you can really see that they're filming this out in the middle of somewhere under this overpass, basically, and there's a train going by, and it's just really cool. It's had a good atmosphere, and they're blasting this music over this PA, and there's a train going by, and it's pretty cool. And then there's Belly of the Beast, which is really just more tour footage with them occasionally kind of mugging for the camera and singing lyrics. But there's just a lot of them going on tour in Europe and some stuff in America doing record signings and stuff like that. But yeah, there's lots of stuff with Public Enemy in here, which is which is cool.
That's
Yeah.
the best metal rap collaboration, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's untouchable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chuck and Flavor are both in the video. And then he threw in a little Rue Morgue magazine too, which was nice. A little piece on Hereditary, great Ari Aster film. So yeah, from a couple of years ago. So I thought that was a fun little bonus. And I called 1-900-BIG-BILL and I had to order some Muse action, including Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the special edition. So this has high definition Richard Dreyfuss walking onto the ship. 2 discs and
case.
Yeah, again, it's got that nice Russell Stover's chocolate box look that Columbia did when they.
What did those go for? What did those retail for?
What do we got for
when they first came
on
out?
this sucker? Let's see if it's got a price. This is about $248.
Wow.
So yeah, it's beefy.
Godfather territory.
Yeah,
They've retained their value.
they have, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So I do have another Muse release, but it's up at the Big Bill Emporium, and I was supposed to drive up there last weekend to get it, but things didn't quite pan out and in our communication and setting that up. So I still have to get up there and get that. So I'm going to leave off at Close Encounters Muse. What do you get, Ryan?
So, Sam, for those of us playing along, is that 2.5, or is that 3.5, or is that 4.5?
Hold on. All right. So we're counting Legends of the Fall as half
counting
because
men?
it's rotted.
Counting men.
So Cliffhanger, that, and what's my other one? Oh, Lawrence of Arabia. So yeah,
You got
that's
some
3.5.
rotted Muse? Is that a thing?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Legends of the Fall has a little bit of rot. It's still watchable, but it's it's got some
I
speckles.
thought Japan
So
was immune.
I know, right?
No. They just didn't have DADC USA in Japan.
So the one I'm going to go pick up will be my 5th or
Oh.
4.5. Yeah.
4.5. It's
Peter
impressive.
didn't just send you all of his?
Actually, I have a couple loaners, but
Hmm.
yeah, from Bill, but not from Peter. But
What's the late fees on that?
yeah, it's a bitch. Hopefully he forgets to charge me for those.
Don't tell anyone.
Mhm.
All right, so I might have gotten some LaserDiscs in.
I believe you.
We're gonna start it off with Reservoir Dogs. I mean,
Ha!
City on Fire.
Ooh, I've never seen that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Great
so
Ringo Lum.
Where's that?
it's I believe it's a Hong Kong pressing. Yeah, Golden City
nice.
Cinema. So
Yeah.
but it's got English subs, so perfect.
Ooh, awesome.
And I believe it might have a little bit of widescreen. I don't know exactly what the transfer is, but
Yeah, it's got some matting on there, so but it's nice.
I'm looking forward to it. And then we'll come back stateside with a little Dangerous Passion. That's Carl Weathers and Billy D. Williams.
Whoa.
I like that
So-
their names are not above their faces.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I love when
Always
that happens.
Graphic design, it's the US. But there's definitely a lot of passion. I'm not seeing as much danger, but maybe that's the gun on the cover. So we'll find out.
Okay.
I'm surprised they didn't reissue that with from the director of Mandalorian on the top.
That was cut. It was announced and then canceled.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've heard of TELP discs.
Oh, look at you with
This
the
is-
TELP.
Edgar Winter and Rick Derringer. So
Ah,
I'm looking forward to this. It probably I'm hoping it's not like their disco album that they did. I don't know if you guys knew about that. There's one with a snake on it that they like tried to like rock disco. Did not go well, but this is live from the 80s, so I'm guessing they might have skipped those ones.
I've got the Edgar Winter album that he did for Scientology there, the L. Ron Hubbard Mission Earth one, and that's pretty disco.
Wow.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. He had some cool stuff, and then a couple times he missed, and he missed hard.
Yeah.
And then I believe this is also a
Dude.
TELP disc. So
Nice.
when Peter and I had the conversation, this goes back to like War Disc. This was one of the ones I picked up, and it took a while to get back from Japan, and finally showed up. So, and then one other music disc.
Nice.
I know that like there's like an audio issue. I'm going to see if I can do anything to clean it up.
All you
a
got to
little.
do is just find the frequency and just EQ it out. It's just one hum, like
Yep.
kind of, and it's not like a low it's kind of like a high frequency thing. You could get it out easily. So
I think I will. I just
Yep.
it's definitely something I want to look into. But I'm happy to have it because it's a late release. It's like 1999.
yeah,
So
it sounds nice apart from the hum. Yeah.
yeah, and it looks really good too. Like
Yeah.
surprisingly, unlike their other one. And then got a podcast favorite, Rutger Hauer.
Nice.
Oh,
So
you say Rutger?
Japanese-
Oh, okay. I say Rutger, but
I think it's Rutger. I don't know.
Let's
It
call
could be
the whole
Rutger.
thing.
Yeah. Got a sweet Blood Feast
Wow, look at you.
with a sweet corner obi. This one is actually pretty hard to find with the corner obi, so I was happy to find that. And then I got this really cool Pioneer disc from Japan. It says the masterpiece, and on the back it's got players on it. So you've got the
Oh.
XO and
The reference
X1.
players.
Yeah, so like really cool. So I haven't spun this yet,
Ooh.
but
that's practically an adult disc.
Yeah, I want to see that. Watch that late at night on my
Yeah.
LDS one.
and then have you heard of this movie?
Oh,
People?
late release flex.
Yeah. Definitely did not have this and was on my radar for a while and finally got this in. So really cool one. And then I got one other like Japanese disc that I wanted to show off.
Yeah, squeezing.
Yeah, so I
Oh.
I didn't have I had one other squeeze disc and I got rid of it, and I'll actually talk about that a little bit later. But this is one I didn't have, and unfortunately it's sealed. So what do? Do I get rid of it and
open
find a
it.
non-sealed one?
You
or-
gotta watch Showgirls.
I
You
mean,
can't not watch it.
Squeeze.
Yeah,
Yeah.
squeeze, man.
Yeah, that's true.
What? Yeah, what's on your shirt there?
It is a Newfound Glory Blockbuster riff. So
Oh,
it's
awesome.
it's stealing from the Blockbuster logo, and they've got like stuff down the side and everything.
That's cool.
Nice hoodie.
Nice.
Concert exclusive because they have all kinds of cool concert exclusive merchandise where they like riff on pop culture. So
Nice.
Still can't believe you guys dressed down tonight. I thought we were gonna get all fancy and go to the club.
I missed the memo.
Best I could do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just trying to blend in because we're working.
I haven't
like
worn a
it.
collared shirt, since pre-pandemic.
I got a sweet. I think this is Indonesian. Might be Singapore. Michael Ironside. No idea what it is.
You
That
had me
looks
at
cool.
Michael Ironside.
Yeah, exactly. And the back looks pretty cool too. So
I
There's a lot going on
there. That's definitely a Broterian cover genre that we see a lot. The sort of someone laying down with a sheet over them.
yeah, I think they're trying
That
to
feels really familiar. I
imply
don't know,
something
like
is
Consenting
happening
Adults,
between
I
them.
think, has
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But there's no gun on the front cover, so like.
yeah, that's true.
But I looked it up and it says drama, so I don't know if there's going to be a lot of action or just
Dangerous
Action.
Passion.
yeah, maybe. This sweet one, Model by Day. I have no idea what's going on. This is
What happens by night though?
Oh,
it's Beauty versus the Beast. So this is a foreign release with a English tagline on it,
Hmm.
but
Oh.
it is Famke Janssen.
Nice.
wow.
All
Yeah,
right.
so
That's legit.
yeah, apparently there's a US version, but I've never seen a copy.
Like a
And this
different
is-
title or the same title?
I was gonna
Same
say
title.
that's pretty bad title.
And this is Indonesian, so really kind of it's the only one out there that we know of. So
Who directed it? Anybody
And-
cool or?
probably not. Let's see. It's got Shannon Tweed in it as well. in
Oh,
case you're
nice.
wondering.
Yeah,
And then directed by Christian Dugway or
Hmm.
Dugway, I don't know.
that sounds familiar. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
with a
sure he
Q?
did like one of the mobster movies we were talking about.
yeah,
Um,
Fist Bang.
I don't believe that's the same genre.
Oh, sorry.
Speaking
Carry
of
on.
fist bag, I mean Bloodsport 2.
Whoa.
Nice.
So this is this one is I didn't write notes on it, but it's I think Singapore.
Hmm.
And I put this on and tested a little bit. The transfer on
That's
this
some-
is not good.
Weird typography on the bottom that with that tagline.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they just kind of threw shit together.
Caught between.
Between
Oh, which way do you go? Oh, caught between.
How far will- Honor and Revenge, one man
Yeah.
go.
My guess is like it was probably on the like edge of the VHS tape, and they're like, "Oh, this sounds good. Let's move it."
Copy that.
Yeah, cut and paste. So, and you can't be Bloodsport complete unless you've got number 3 as well.
No JCVD. Oh, wait.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
Stealth AC3.
AC3 and THX, and neither one of those things are true. But they shamelessly threw it on there anyways. This one looks a lot better. Just testing it and checking it. And
Does it actually have digital sound like it says?
it does have digital sound, but
Okay.
there's no AC3. And then I got one other cool horror one that I've been holding back.
Yeah.
This is Witchboard 3.
Hmm.
And this is Singapore only. So this one's really rare, and I was really happy to get it.
Awesome.
So yeah, this is pretty sweet. So yeah, those were my recent pickups.
All right.
Couple.
Yeah, a few.
Wow.
Exactly. How about you, Maxine?
Jeez. I have some cool things, but that was friggin' some cool things. So
Typical Orion. Yeah.
there's some swag things.
Oh, sick.
Nice.
Yeah. Could put my Saab keychain on there.
Yes, I love this one. It's going to get used. Okay. I got some more pins. This one's a little CD.
Oh, CDI.
CDI.
Wow.
Huh. Pretty
And
cool.
I managed to find another one of those LaserDisc ones.
Oh, yeah.
Pioneer one. And
Wow.
the same seller is the CDI.
Nice. Sweet.
So I'm gonna have 2 of these. Maybe I can make earrings.
Yeah, use them both.
And then I got this weird. It's a CD-ROM, but it's like
Modern Times?
disc.
Yeah, it says Modern Times in
Yeah.
katakana.
Uh-huh.
It says it's for Macintosh, and it has like LaserDisc reference. Yeah, LDs, LDC Pioneer LDC.
Hmm.
But I don't know. Kind of looked interesting, so hopefully it's got something cool on it.
Is it like interactive content for like a classroom thing?
I have no idea. I really don't know. I haven't tried plugging it in. My Mac is older. There's a chance. I mean,
It might work.
we'll see. But yeah, I didn't really look through it's a lot of it's just straight up Japanese, but there's like, see with the little inner sheet, we got some little pictures.
Hmm.
So maybe it's like for like a film class or something. But it's kind of, I don't know, kind of interesting.
Weird.
So
That's cool.
yeah, looking forward to checking what the heck that is out. And then I got very understated
Dude.
Pioneer jacket,
Oh, with the snaps and everything.
Ooh.
Wow.
right? The Pioneer on the front there. It's just blank on the back, but it's that lovely windbreaker material.
Nice.
And it's
Screams
just-
90s.
Yes. Yeah. It's got the classic
Hmm.
classic edge there. So, but the Pioneer is great, and the snaps are great. And it's definitely, it's old. It's called like Travel Light.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm jazzed about that one. Oh, and I got some discs, of course.
All right. What do you got?
Casper.
Oh, snap.
Nice.
I still didn't have this one. I think it's the first, volume 1. I had volume 2 and didn't have 1 for some reason. So now I do. I too got some interesting, weird
Sound triangle, huh?
love triangles. So looking forward to hearing what the heck.
Like the AirPod Pro Max on the front.
Yeah, huh?
I don't know what the heck it is. It just has like headphones. So
Yeah, it's some sort of audio test.
I hope so. I like those. It's got
Kind of-
Roland on the front. Roland.
Hmm.
Sound space processing system. Interesting.
Weird. Huh.
Weird. This is,
Oh, I've seen that one
Nice.
before.
yeah.
I should
this
pick that up.
is- I know. I've seen it quite a bit, but I just, it came kind of all together. I got all these as one kind of lot, which I was kind of stoked on. But yeah, just interested to see what all of these are. I always enjoy these. These are my favorite types of things. Just
Oh, the double digital one. Nice.
yeah, this one I've
Yep.
been wanting for a while. I love when they show you what your room should look like.
Yes.
I don't care if it's 3D animated. I don't care if it's a freaking kid's rendering of a drawing of a scan. Like, I love these silly things that they blink your frame speakers on the screen. Like, this is where this goes, and it's ginormous, and don't put it on top of your huge TV set.
Like Video Essentials.
Yes.
Has like a center channel standing up on top of a TV.
There's just so many huge speakers that fall. You're like, who would put these there? Like, who even who has feeling strength to hold that in that location? Like,
who lives in the Sims room that they've designed? Yeah.
Andy. Well, maybe. But yeah, this one, I mean, I definitely want to check this one out. I'm looking forward to I love all the Dolby intros, and I think there might be a good moment.
Oh, cool.
Intros, which would be really fun.
Yeah, those are great.
So this one's a little different vibe.
Ooh, real phonic.
What is real phonic?
Yeah. So I'm not sure. This really has no information on the back, just like NEC.
Is that what is that I'm looking on the front? Is that like a couch or a TV or what are they trying to show me?
Yeah.
Speaker setup, couch setup.
Okay.
Very abstract. But yeah, it's kind of similar on the back. Not too much information there, just track is all you get in English there.
Huh.
So, but yeah, hoping it's, HD fish or, something Southwest.
Hell yeah.
This one is another one I feel like of the obscure ones, I see this one quite a bit. But I never had it, and it's called Checking Dolby Surround. So this should be a check disc.
And that's from Sony?
This is, yes, this is Sony. Released by Sony.
Looks cool.
Yeah, this is at the end here, the only thing in English, it says it's got visual and surrounding his air show. So we're getting planes.
Some jets and stuff. Yeah.
That's always good. Okay, now these came from a person.
Oh, dude.
Nice.
This has been one I never thought I would get. Really.
Yeah, I never see that.
Yeah, and I'm a huge B-52s fan. So this is honestly like super cool to have, and this is a late release flex for sure. Because this
looks nice.
Is when this content goes from 79 to 1998.
Damn.
And this is, I'm really, really stoked on this. I haven't watched it yet, but it's like, this is like probably watched ones. Most of the things this came from a lot, and that I picked up, and everything's pretty much was just in really great shape. So
nice.
Yes.
Weird Al Club now.
Our second Weird Al reference of the night.
Yes, I'm jazzed about this. I don't think I've ever really had this one before. Maybe. I don't think so. I would have kept it probably, but
that's cool.
Great condition. I mean, it's straight up like still in the perfect shrink.
There's a lot of stuff on there too.
A lot of stuff on here. I mean, there's freaking 21 tracks.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I was looking for it. There was a lot of good like music ones and just, stuff like this too. I don't know. I've never seen this one before. I don't know really much about it other than its Outer Limits, but kind of just,
I think I saw that on TV, but
I'm not sure.
Because it's got both bridges in there, right? Or two of the bridges, right? Bo Bridges, Lloyd.
Dylan and Bo and Lloyd.
Oh, okay. Yep.
3 bridges. But
Jeff was busy that day.
No Nash.
Yeah.
The kind of like screaming tree on the front was enticing enough, I guess. Where I thought maybe I need this. So
pretty cool.
This is my best flex of them all, I feel like.
Nice.
Ooh.
This ridiculously enough was shipped in a freaking bubble mailer. Miraculously made it. I don't know how. It did not really fully get a spine split, but it kind of did.
Yeah, not too bad.
Let down, but I mean, it made it, so can't complain.
Damn.
Thank you for not making a post about it.
But yeah, that's all my goodies.
Yeah, nice pile.
Sweet.
What'd you
You
get?
got any LDs, Vinny?
Well, I retired but I did manage to pick up about 16.
Wow.
So,
For
all right.
look at you.
No, I grabbed a lot a while back. It was mostly Spencerific, so he got a lot of it.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, so there's a few things in there, and then a bunch of things came up on eBay here and there. My account is currently frozen for some odd reason.
Your eBay?
They've
Or?
got- yeah, you know, when they switched over to the whole managed payment thing, I took too long to do it, and then once I did, they haven't caught up with it. Their system hasn't, so it's been good. I haven't been able to use it. We'll go quickly here.
Yep.
Trigger
Nice.
Effect.
Nice.
It's a movie I've never seen, but I have always just meant to and never had, and it was in there, so got that.
Good David Kep stuff.
Yeah, one of the classic film noirs out of the past.
Nice.
Nice RKO. I think there's a commentary track on this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, gatefold.
I had this on Blu-ray, but it's one
Nice.
of the first films I ever saw, and I was way too young. It freaked me out for a many number of years, but it's really cool. So good to have the widescreen.
Yeah, I need that widescreen
Great
one.
cover.
That's nice.
This is a Criterion DVD release that I don't have, but
I have both.
LaserDisc. Yeah, early Danny Boyle. Floating Heads title I've actually never seen, so I got to catch up with Guns
Nice.
and Navarone. Good heads there. AC3, just never had it. Still sealed, but also good gangster film.
Yeah, that was fun.
Actually saw this on my honeymoon in LA.
Wow.
I saw it in the
Summer of
theaters too.
95. Yeah, in theater.
Yeah.
I had recently gotten the Japanese version from Luke, but this is the American, I think, AC3 as well.
Yeah, I was
This
gonna say
does the
that's a
sort
little
of
bit later.
parentheses. It has the parentheses AC3
Yeah.
next to it.
Yeah, they were having a hard
Um,
time trying to decide what to
yeah.
call it.
Yeah, and I've never seen it. It's just one of those things, you know. And the longer I take to see it, I feel like the better its reputation gets. You know, because it was so reviled for basically ending an entire period of Hollywood in the studio.
Yep.
But now I feel like people are revisiting it. My only Elvis and the best Elvis movie,
Nice.
King Creole, black and white. Michael Curtiz, Walter Matthau as a gangster. See this gangster.
Yeah,
theme.
look at that.
That's sealed.
Yeah,
Sealed.
remastered.
Nice.
Not AC3, but sealed remaster. I got this from, someone in the group. I forgot who. I traded with Joe. I went through a patch where I was generous in getting rid of things that people really needed. He needed a Miracle Mile. I had a non-rotted Miracle Mile.
Whoa.
I had the Blu-ray, so I sent him that for this, which none of you want, but it's the Vitaphone Shorts Volume 2 box.
I was gonna say, keep the Miracle Mile. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I might have had 2 of those actually.
Oh, okay.
And then I gave Marky My Lost Boys AC3 and helped Melodia complete a bunch of stuff. So I don't know. It was right after I got in Dark City, and I was just sort of high on completion and needed to make room. So this is a really cool box of shorts from 30s and 40s. But it was always something I wanted, but never wanted to pay like the $70 for it.
Yeah, screw that.
This was one I kept out of Spencer's hands. He probably has it. Kirk Douglas Western, widescreen, color. Speaking of Warren Beatty, I had to get this somewhat late release, but it's pretty easy to find. But great movie. Was this AC3? It is indeed. Yeah.
Score.
Movie. Melodia actually had doubles of Olympia, and he was offered it up to whoever wanted it, and I wanted it, so sent me a nice sealed copy of Olympia.
Nice.
Got to be the only Hitler disc I have.
Yeah.
How many people have movies with Hitler's face on it? It's amazing.
There's probably a few.
But I hear this is pretty incredible.
Yeah,
I hear this is pretty incredible, so I'm excited to watch it. Old school Voyager title, but that cover was so great. This is the world's greatest animation from Voyager, and it's got Creature Comforts on here and a bunch of famous short films that you have probably seen.
Very nice.
Another one that just sits in the watch list forever. It's pretty common, but I just had to have Out of Sight. Saw this in the theater. It's got the commentary by Soderbergh. One of the best signature collection movies. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
It's that or what, For Richer or Poorer, and
Patch Adams,
Ed TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got this in a lot. It was in with a bunch of other titles mixed in, but this is why I bought it. I've got the other 2 box sets, but I'm really hoping I can just get rid of those. I don't know if I need 3 copies of The Abyss in my life.
It's got the documentary on it.
And it's the extended version, which I think I saw the ending once, but I don't know if I like this version better as far as extended. I might just make this the only version I have.
You should.
I did that with
Aliens.
Better. I got rid of the boxes and kept the single discs. And then I guess the coolest thing I found, this just happens when you just refresh eBay all day. Sometimes you get lucky for $8 and find
Nice.
Sweet. Dolby Digital.
The AC3 T2.
Very nice.
So I only have the box set. So really this is the only other version of it I have. And now I don't need any others. Excited to watch this in AC3. And now, basically, as I start to think, I'm basically buying for me and my son, right? Because as he starts to get older, I'm showing him some cool movies. So this will be the way we watch T2.
Yes.
Yeah, do it.
Is that it? Yeah, that's it, I think.
Wow. Nice selections, everybody.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I see you've been spending your stimulus funds wisely. Good job. All right, let's do recent spins. Let's get into things. What have you been watching lately? All right, let's see what we got. I kept it gangster across the board. I mean, I did watch that Anthrax Attack of the Killer videos as well, but I started with Michael Mann's one of the best first films. This was his first theatrical film, Thief, James Caan. This is a director's edition, which has a little bit more kind of character stuff. It's not too much different than the theatrical cut, but I think Willie Dixon's in it a little bit. There's a cool scene with, James Caan hanging out with him, fishing, being a little introspective, but amazing Michael Mann stuff. Robert Prosky's first film is really, I mean, he's the only reason I didn't put this in my top 5 is because, James Caan is, more of a mercenary in this. And there's Robert Prosky. He's the actual organized crime guy who decides to kind of muscle in on this dude's, kind of life and kind of hire him as, an indentured servant, basically. And this guy is not about that at all. Willie Nelson plays his mentor. Really good stuff. Tuesday Weld is in there, and they have a really kind of tortured relationship. Tangerine Dream did the score. It's amazing stuff. And this is really cool. It's got a commentary track with James Caan and Michael Mann on there. And it's really fun because James Caan's complaining that Michael Mann called him up, I think the night before, and said, "Come on down here. We're doing commentary tomorrow." He's like, "What are you talking about?" And the Right Channel has an interview from 1981, which I don't think got ported over onto the Criterion Collection DVD Blu-ray combo they came out with. The Criterion one is very similar to this cut, but it's a little bit different. I think it's closer to the theatrical cut than this, but just great stuff. Tearing through Chicago, and they taught James Caan. They hung out with people that were like on the FBI's most wanted list while they were making the film. And James Caan, he almost got taken in by the FBI for hanging out with the wrong people at one point. And they had to talk with him and told him to kind of simmer down. And they taught him how to be a thief. And one of the guys, I forget his name. Is it Nick Santucci? I forgot, but he's a real, he plays one of the cops, but he's a real, jewel thief. And he taught him how to use all the tools and everything like that. And they do it for real. Really great stuff. Highly recommend picking that up.
I remember watching that right after. Yeah. If you like Drive, I mean, basically Thief and the movie Driver with Ryan O'Neal.
I forgot to mention, it's a huge influence on Drive. Yeah. And it's got, and heat. There's a lot of heat in there too. There's a great diner scene with, instead of, a cop and a criminal, but it's got James Caan trying to convince Tuesday Weld that she should be his, his woman in this life that he's come up with.
Right.
This idea, it's just so good, and it's got a real just intense finale, and just great stuff. Then I had to watch the AC3, the nice box set that they came out with later, where they had all 3 films, and there's 2 different versions. There's the pan and scan and the widescreen version. If you have the gold jackets are the pan and scan versions, or open matte or whatever, and then the green ones are the remastered widescreen.
Is that in a box too, or are they separate?
It is.
I can't remember what the box looks like. There's so many.
The box, it's a nice box. My only complaint is it doesn't have anything on the spine.
Right.
And then the other complaint is the kind of gold foil there. It gets a little weird after a time. It seems like it's like that on everybody's. But when it's on the shelf, all you see is that, unlike the other box, which is nice.
Right.
And on the back, it's just, very simple. This doesn't have the Godfather family documentary, but it does have newer pieces on it's 2 discs for each film, and it's all 4 sides. There's no turtles going on here, and there's little pieces with Talia Shire and Pacino, and of course Coppola and Mario Puzo on each of the films, like kind of talking about it. It's kind of like the Leonard Maltin Lucas things at the end of the Faces LDs, pretty simple. But again, I was looking at one of my old widescreen reviews, and they were giving this and the second film, and I think they gave them each a 2.5 out of 5 for picture. And I was watching this on the Sony. I got the new Eval board thing going, and I swear it looked like I was watching a film print in my living room. It was amazing. So it's great. Now I have better gear than the magazines I used to read back in the 90s. So things that they said didn't look good, it looks amazing. The colors were striking. There's like absolutely no noise or anything like that. Looked fantastic. So, and then, and of course it's a really good film. Yeah. I had to follow that up with The Godfather Part 2. This one is a little bit darker. Like there's some like kind of just the darkness gets crushed a little bit, so it's not as good looking as the first film. But still had to watch that. I was gonna watch 3 this way as well, but it just ran out of time. So because of course 4 sides for each film. And the week just went by quickly. So this also has bonus interviews, never before seen stuff on here. It's pretty cool. It's an interesting film because they didn't really have the full story, and so it's kind of interesting hearing about how Coppola is a little bit more personal film for him, and him and Puzo just kind of pulling some of the stuff out of thin air as to what they were going to do. Great stuff. And what do we watch? Shout out to Spencer. We watched The Roaring Twenties. Really fun Prohibition era gangster film with Cagney and Bogart. Cagney's actually the more reserved one in this film, and Bogart's the more kind of like knife edge psycho of the two. It starts in World War One. There's actually a third gentleman, and they're all kind of meeting in the same shell hole, kind of hiding from the action, and they're talking about what they're going to do when they go back home, and everyone's got a plan, and Cagney's plan sucks because he's decided he's going to go back and be a mechanic because his boss said he'd hold his job for him. And they do go back, and Bogart disappears for half the film, but he ends up running liquor once Prohibition's on, and Cagney ends up not getting his old job and is kind of just finding his way, and ends up accidentally getting into the same realm of running liquor because he encounters this one woman. I think her name is Panama Smith. Cool name, played by Jean. Who was it? Jean was Priscilla Lane. Panama Smith was Gladys George. And so he starts kind of hanging out with a friend who's got a cab company, and he ends up doing the nightclub scene, and then ends up teaming back up with Bogart, and they start ripping off booze from people, and Bogart he'll just shoot people in a second. It's got a great scene where Cagney kicks a dude over a railing, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think? This is funny," or something. And he just kicks him in the chest, and guy flies right over the railing. Really good stuff. It's just fun. There's a lot of songs in there too, because he's got a torch for this young woman who he met when she was a high schooler, and he's like, "Well, I'll wait till you're old enough," and he waited until she was old enough, and she's actually carrying a torch for the third guy. That's actually the lawyer, the guy that's doing all the legal work for these two dudes. But it's really interesting. It's based on Mark Hellinger's work as a journalist and the characters in his real life that he knew. And it's fascinating because this is 1939, so it's film kind of talking about the 20s as recent history. Yeah, they even mentioned in the not so distant past. Yeah, it's kind of fascinating. And almost done. Abel Ferrara's The Funeral. I had to fire this up. I bought this from the Vinegar Syndrome people at the archive. Really, really good. Mid 90s Abel Ferrara film. He did this pretty much back to back with The Addiction. So of course it's got Christopher Walken again, Annabella Sciorra, and Christopher Penn. The late Christopher Penn is really amazing in this. And there's Christopher Penn. Benicio del Toro is the kind of heavy in this. But it's a Godfather-esque tale of, you don't actually get to see the Vito character that much, the father of this family, these three brothers. Vincent Gallo plays the third brother, the youngest, who's already deceased as the film begins. And these guys aren't actually capable of handling that sort of grief without a bit of revenge going on. And so it has a little bit of flashbacks going on as you learn more. Isabella Rossellini's also in it. And so it's really strong cast. And it's got, it's not as heavy-handed as The Addiction, but there's some religion in there, and of course, a decent dollop of philosophy. And these characters are just so broken and interesting. Chris Penn's character is really heartbreaking because he's just a total mess. He does a great job singing because, of course, they have a bar, and he's tearing it up one night singing loudly, and it's just really good, interesting film, and it's got a real gut punch of a finale. Disc doesn't look that good. It's not letterboxed. It's a little bit noisy, but yeah, awesome. And finally, no, that was it. That was the last one. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I forget one? No, that was it. That was 5. What have you been watching, Ryan?
Let's see. I want to thank you for beating me to the Vinegar Syndrome shout out. Good job.
Nice. Our official sponsor.
Yeah, exactly. This one I got from Vinnie this week in the mail, and it's Spike of Bensonhurst, The Mafia Kid.
What? I didn't realize that was subtitled The Mafia Kid.
Yeah, and I didn't either. But he plays this kid. His dad went to prison to not rat out his boss, who's a mafia guy, and he's kind of a loudmouth wisecracker who decides to get the local mob boss's daughter pregnant and another girl. And he's kind of an idiot, but it plays out okay. VHS Plus, so that's always good.
Image.
And it's
Nice.
it's got Sasha Mitchell of Kickboxer 2, 3, and 4 fame. I think that was what he was most famous for. Pretty sure, maybe not. And then Ernest Borgnine is the mafia boss. So
Excellent.
It was pretty decent, and it ended up being on topic, which was really awesome. So.
Yeah.
I watched King of New York.
Abel Ferrara again.
Yeah. And I like this. I didn't pay enough attention at the beginning because I was polishing discs. But the ending, as the movie went on, it got really, really good. And Christopher Walken's pretty great. And there's some pretty decent scenes in there where he's driving and whatnot. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's pretty good. I got 2 that I want to talk about that are not mafia related, but I had to give everyone an update on this.
Thank you.
The cover is surprisingly slightly better than the movie.
Okay.
Still good. Lots of ridiculousness and sequences where you're like, how did they get here? Why are they there? Don't care. Just lots and lots of fighting and shooting and misses, and this gun did not show up. But for this good of a cover, it's still delivered.
Did they have tanks?
A little bit.
All right.
It did not have these tanks.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's okay.
Choppers?
Yeah, choppers.
Let's just say their budget was not as good as the illustration budget. Yeah. But they definitely had those. It just were a little more dated and crappy looking. But I watched Ski Patrol.
Oh my God.
This is really good. classic ski movie. So somebody's trying to take control of the mountain and turn it into a commercial thing. Like, imagine that. Like, this is
Never
a story
happens.
that doesn't happen in ski movies. But it does have a nice sequence with a hot dog going off the side of the mountain. So, yeah, I recommend it as the official movie of the podcast. And then I decided to watch this, having never seen The Godfather before.
Man,
Do not do that.
that's ballsy.
It's 10 hours, which is not the worst part.
Yeah.
There's nothing that tells
one
you.
season of a show.
Yeah, no, well, that's not the problem. There's like no sequences to break it up to let you know it's moving around or doing anything differently. It was rough at times because you're like, oh, well, you're starting here and it starts out early because it's chronological. But then all of a sudden it would just cut to like later on in his life, but it wouldn't be a title sequence. The actors would just change. And then it did that again. So while the movies were good, this is a horrible way to watch it first.
What did you know about it going? Like, they're just things you know just from being a person that happens in the movie. So when it starts, do you know that De Niro is Brando?
Yeah. It's pretty obvious going into it, and like the things that like I didn't like were anytime it got to Sofia Coppola.
Well, that's way. I mean,
yeah, but like it was hard to follow.
Way later.
And the transfer is pretty dark. This is a dark transfer, and it's pan and scan, which that doesn't bother me, but it's a dark transfer. But I forgot how dark old houses were. Like there's a lot of scenes inside houses, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know, back in the 80s and 70s, like houses didn't have the lighting. Like I have LED lights on me now, just so that it's, you know, I have enough lighting and it's not like too much. But like, yeah, so like it kind of captured that well, and I'm sure it looks a lot better on Blu-ray and whatnot. But it was good. It just flowed weird because it would change times, and you'd have to figure it out by the different actors playing the same people. And if you didn't know who they were, like it took a second to catch up, or like somebody would, you know, say his name, Vito, and you're like, okay, there we go. But it was still good. But yeah, like I don't get the Sofia Coppola thing. I don't get the whole cousins thing. Like I felt like they were building really well and they could have stopped, and then they like wanted to do more and also wanted to have Sofia Coppola in the movie, and she didn't add anything.
She didn't want to be in the movie. You know, Winona Ryder was there. She was in Rome, ready to go, and then she either got sick or got hurt. Something happened to her, so she couldn't do it. And then they didn't want to pay Duvall money to be the George Hamilton part. And so it's so ridiculous to look back now. It's like saying, yeah, we don't have enough for Arnold for this Terminator movie, so we're not going to use him. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a decent story, but there are certain parts like in the end that just like felt forced or just drawn out, and that might have been part of the cut because I'm watching all of whatever the hell they threw into it because I mean it was 10 hours. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it was
and it came out the same year as Goodfellas, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, that is true. And unfortunately, my box is number 35 or 3829. So
so still lower than mine.
Mine's a later pressing. It's a little bit worn on the stamper, so the grooves weren't as distinct. No,
Wasn't a double Wally.
Yeah, it was not a double Wally. It was the kid from the record club at that point. But no, it was really good, and if you want to seek it out, do it because it's kind of unique. And I don't think that it's on anything else. Did it get like VHS or DVD?
There was a VHS, I think.
Yeah, VHS.
Well, not with the third one. Obviously, not with the third one.
And every time they released something like that on, like HBO had the version that was just 1 and 2 added it together. So that version is still just VHS and LD. So
cool. Yeah, I mean. I definitely enjoyed it, having never seen The Godfather before, but I mean, I knew little bits and pieces about it, obviously. Like it's almost impossible. It's like somebody who says they haven't seen Star Wars, but like they probably know who half the characters are. So
I'm curious to see if you do watch them again in the right, just watch the first two, obviously, in the right order to see how it plays for you. I would imagine it would play much faster and more exciting. Yeah,
because doesn't the first one start at like the wedding?
Yeah.
I feel like that was 2.5 hours minimum. So like, I mean, not that it was a bad thing, but like I was like, I had already stopped for the night knowing that I had, you know,
Sure.
11 sides. It's 11 sides the way it plays out. And I'm like, okay, come back. And then like maybe 20 minutes into the disc, you're like, hey, they're at the wedding. And that's apparently the start of the first, but that's like disc side 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
Yeah.
it's good. It's really cool. It's really expansive. They could use some title sequences just interspersed in, because there were just a couple of time changes that didn't really seem to fit, but they did. But it took a second to catch up because it was just out of nowhere. So yeah.
Nice.
So how about you, Maxine?
So yes, I tried to kind of go some more old school kind of titles. I watched Scarface,
Oh.
32 Scarface from Howard Hawks, and this was really, really good. I really liked this, and I like a good, you know, black and white film. I like them normally in the morning. That's when I enjoy them the most. It very much feels like I used to watch a lot of like Turner Classic movies with my dad, and that would be like a morning thing. So I definitely associate black and white movies with the morning for whatever reason. Maybe I'm not the only one. But this, I had really no expectations. After kind of starting watching it, I read a few like reviews from like IMDb, and this one person had a really interesting review kind of comparing similar Scarface-ish adaptations that were all from a similar time frame, and then like the different people who kind of played this character, comparing them, and then ultimately deeming that this was their favorite, which I feel like a lot of the things that this had to be the source material. I mean, just clearly like Al Pacino, like he watched this, like there was a lot of things where he copied a lot of the mannerisms, I felt like, of this Tony. And just like, I mean, even like Michelle Pfeiffer's character kind of felt like the love interest in this, like just her kind of aloof, like not liking the Tony. But just overall, like this was really like enjoyable, and like it was really good. Freaking Boris Karloff's in it, so watch it. Like
Nice.
And then Angel Dirty Faces, which I had never seen this before, and I probably would have gotten this into my list. I did enjoy it, but there was just a little more basketball than gangstering, so I was kind of like, okay, you know, like it was very like snappy, quick, and like pass through time quickly, like film noir. In the beginning, I was like, oh, I like this. I really like film noir. Yeah. So this felt like really right up my alley, like in the first little bit of it. And then he like gets out of, you know, he gets out of jail after he's been in jail a bunch of times, but he gets out of jail and then he goes and sees his buddy who's now like a pastor. And then he's like, it's like youth kids. And like, you know, he's like helping the community, but they're like all like, they're like snarky, like gangster kids, like that are hanging out in like their old hideout. And like, but it's like suddenly James is like friggin' playing basketball with the kids. You gotta play it right, you know, like, and it's just like, I was like, oh, you know, I'm enjoying this, but this isn't fitting the category. And so I was like,
yeah,
but like,
we'll do top 5 basketball films later.
Yes, it actually, you know, it
might be in there.
Might be in there. But yeah, this was good. I mean, this is just like, this is kind of one of those classic ones. I mean, is this the one that they have playing in Home Alone? Am I correct in that? Or is that? Okay.
They made up that movie for Home Alone.
I wasn't sure.
I just saw it used in something else.
The Home Alone?
I forgot. Yeah, that scene. It'll come to me later. We're just watching something. The kids were watching something. And I said, "Oh, that's the same. They use the same, you know, movie from Home Alone." Can't remember it now.
That's so weird. I don't know. This was one.
Oh, snap.
I had no idea what I was getting into. I love all of these people. And this is a musical. So this was not at all what I was expecting. And as soon as they kind of burst into song, I mean, I don't know why I didn't think it was a musical when it was being drawn. Like, why didn't I think that? And then I was just very confused. And I thought, I'm gonna table this because this is not like what I was expecting at all. I was like expecting more of like a gangster movie. And then also, which also threw me for a loop was like in the very beginning, it's like the grandpa who reads the story in Princess Bride.
Peter Falk.
That actor is like the boss, and he's like naming himself the boss. I'm just like, that really, grandpa? Like, I've watched Princess Bride so many times that voice is just undeniably like that character to me. And so like this is one I probably will revisit, but I watched side one and it was interesting enough to where I will watch this again, but like this was not what I was expecting whatsoever. And it was very interesting. So
I see that LD very often, if at all. It's pretty cool looking.
I basically have had that on the shelf. I mean, pink cover, and then you had me at Frank Sinatra. So basically, I figured I'll watch this eventually. And that was one of the ones when I was looking up all the different titles that could kind of fit into this, I was really looking forward to seeing a lot of these older films because I haven't ever really watched these. And so I did try to start with as early as possible and then work my way down. So I did watch this.
Oh, snap.
And this was also very different than I was expecting. I did enjoy it. It was a little on the slower side than I was expecting. And I think that kind of like made me be just like I wasn't as in it. I was expecting it to be just a little more fast paced. And they do spend a lot of time on the just like, you know, walking through the streets, you know, which is like cool because like I like to see just what's going on, like where are they? I love to see an environment. So overall, this was enjoyable, but it did not make my top.
It was very close to being in mine because I think I love it. It's basically, you know, it's Goodfellas. Just you could see what, you know, how he built up to that, and that's really his sort of. It's pretty autobiographical for Scorsese as the Harvey Keitel part, and it's got one of the best music cues in movie history when De Niro walks in to the Rolling Stones. You know, it was the first time that Stones song I think had ever been used in a movie. And then that basically, you know, Easy Rider used some songs, but no one was really using pop songs in movies. That's 1973. And then you get Scorsese as the assassin in the back of the car later in the movie. He's the one who ultimately shoots the other mafia guy.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Wow.
Someone gets shot in Mean Streets.
Yeah,
I didn't think I had that one. And I
definitely
apparently do.
soundtrack. This
Really cool.
that totally felt like Goodfellas.
I mean, it's the same shot. Yeah, you see it again in Goodfellas, only De Niro's on the other side of it. Is it the Stones? I forget what it's the slow motion bar tracking shot in Goodfellas. Yeah.
I know. That's totally soundtrack. Totally agree. It's worth watching. I feel like that's one that kind of flies on the radar a little bit more, maybe, but I really hadn't heard that much about anybody mentioning anything about it, where I had like a like I do with some of these other ones, like, you know, Godfather or things like that. But yeah, I didn't really know what I was getting into with that. And then of course,
Ooh.
Frank.
Yes.
Oh.
This was freaking ridiculous. I will send to the chat. I sent it to Sam.
I saw some. Yeah.
What do they do?
The intro to this is literally Frank having a friggin' barbecue where he's like making pork chops and he's got like a bottle of red wine and he's asking like his guests like, you want red wine? And then the one, I think it's her, she's like, oh, sweetheart, could you put some ice in mine? And then he's like, does everybody want ice? And then he starts putting ice in the glass. And then the guy, well, okay, I missed one guy. He walks in and it's this guy. No, it's not this guy. It's a different guy. But he comes in and he's carrying like cases of wine. And then he's like leaving, but he's seeing the ice cubes dropping into the glass. And he's like, no. And then he's like running and then trips on the grass, which they show. And they have this very ominous music playing. And then he freaking face plants over the table and into the pool. Like he's had to stop the whole party because they put ice
cubes,
red wine. And they had like Whoopi Goldberg was like, oh no. And they like cut to her. I mean, it was just
Who's that on the bottom?
Intro.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought that was Seagal. Now wait a minute. Like none of these people seem like they were famous at the same time.
Well, Kelly LeBrock and Seagal were like the hot couple
Dudley
at the time.
Moore? Oh my God, they all seem, that's a random group.
Maybe they were cheap to get for whatever this. Yeah. Was this selling anything? Like, was there a specific wine they were selling?
Not at all.
Don't do it.
How do you like? So the whole intro is just to build you up to this thing that wine doesn't have to be so tough, and go to that after they like basically told you don't you dare ice in the red wine, and it's like, and they're like showing people at a picnic like you can have wine anytime, like, and it's just like becomes that all of a sudden, and then it's this guy, and he's telling you about wine and basically have wine however you like. If you like ice in it, then you do you know, it's like that. But basically, yeah, they tell you how to choose from a wine list, the selecting the glassware, which wine goes with which food, and they show you different bottles and different things, and it was quite fascinating. And you get Flippy the Turtle on side B.
Yes.
Because
good job, Flippy.
Because
how much wine can you talk about?
He's drunk. That's why he's on his back. He drank all the wine from side A.
Tipsy turtle. Yep.
The fact that this is a rental and it's in this good of shape is hilarious to me.
Yeah. No one rented it.
One person who rented this ever.
I don't know what the target audience is like.
You buy the second cheapest bottle, right? That's the rule.
Yep.
Don't get the cheapest, you buy the second cheapest.
Yes. This is yes, it does actually have it has Bernard's picks for which ones he recommends.
Oh, nice.
But yes, they basically say like what the expense levels are, and then like what kind of like brands or specific types of wines kind of fall into those typically. So like if you wanted like a mid-range wine, like it would be a specific one that you could pretty well go with this one and not end up with just a crap wine.
Sounds like you've learned a lot, actually.
Yeah, I like informational discs. They're my favorite.
Yeah, between that and the accounting discs, and yeah, you got a lot of stuff.
I got lots of knowledge, you guys.
You have amazing early 90s knowledge of everything.
Seriously, I mean, there's encyclopedias that fit on just two sides. Two sides.
It's impressive.
Takes up a lot less room than those big old books, you know.
Yes.
Gotta worry
awesome.
about your encyclopedia having laser rot. But yeah, this was highly recommended. I've literally never seen a copy of this before. But you know, if you own a corkscrew or think you would like to, here is the guide for you.
I could own a corkscrew, but not until I watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that's what I watched. How about you, Vinny?
Awesome. I realized as I'm down here, where am I? Oh, that's Pacino right there. That's Serpico.
Nice.
Not a gangster movie. That's a
cop movie.
That's a good topic. Cop movies. There's plenty of those.
Yeah, we should do that at some point.
Yeah. So this I watched yesterday. Just amazing. Again, highly recommended. Talk about gangster malls. She is, she's sort of from the new mold where she's really trying to help run the show. Pierce Brosnan, I got looked it up. I gotta expect that's his first role. He's in 2 scenes, and Steve Coogan is in 1 scene. He's flat on his back, dying. Barely tell it's Steve Coogan, but it's him.
And talk about actors having a hard time. I know my wife does not enjoy Bob Hoskins films.
Really?
After seeing Roger Rabbit, in which he is a heavy. Yeah. So that.
Yeah.
And,
he's the head. I mean,
the Jet Li film that he's in.
Yeah, he's probably in his 30s here. I imagine everyone is. Helen Mirren's probably pretty young, but this is just a tour de force. I mean, this is like just incredible. Really good. Check it out.
Pierce Brosnan's second role. He
was
in
the
a
first
TV movie before it, Murphy's Stroke.
So maybe his first film, yeah.
First theatrical. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, fortunately or not, the last 3 movies I've watched were with my son, but that's, sometimes the only way I get to see things. But he is in the 6th grade, and in 6th grade you read The Outsiders.
Nice.
So
Coppola.
Yeah. So I got to watch this. He watched most of it alone, but I popped in and out, and just to tell him who everyone was. But he recognizes Tom Cruise and knows Macchio, of course. But it's great because I forgot Swayze was in it. This cast is unbelievable, and they're like 16-year-old kids, squatting somewhere. I didn't see the whole thing, so I don't know how well it holds up, but he seemed to find it pretty close to the book, and the book is pretty short, so I imagine they've got most of it in here. Scope looked okay, not great transfer, but decent enough.
You can do Rumblefish next?
Yeah, I don't know if they read that, but yeah, maybe. I'm wondering what's next for them book-wise, book to movie. Showed him this, so
nice.
We're now getting into just some cooler standalone movies that aren't superhero things for him to watch. So this is really his first big blockbuster. We did Men in Black, but big explosion alien film. Watched the AC3, looked pretty good.
What do you think? What was the review?
He loved it.
All right.
I loved it.
Yep.
Absolutely loved it. Sounded okay. Didn't blow me away, but decent. There's tons of extras on here. We didn't watch any of them, but there are a lot. There's an audio commentary on here too. Yeah, really cool. The effects for the time were, really good. That's one thing I always try to point out to them as we're watching these movies. It's like people weren't doing a lot of this stuff back then. A lot of stuff's practical, and they were blowing up buildings like nonstop for a while there. Like in the early part, sort of shockingly too, because he saw the White House and he was like, really, they're gonna they blew up the White House. Nothing was spared.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I had just started reading, I should have brought it down for our later segment, but there's this great book called Shit Actually by the woman who wrote Shrill, Hulu show. And it's just a series of essays about movies. And it's called Shit Actually because she did this really famous essay that gets passed around every Christmas about how bad Love Actually really is.
Everyone hates the Love Actually.
Yeah. So she does that for a bunch of different movies, and it's very funny. But the book opens with a chapter called "The Fugitive is the only good movie." Like, she just goes on about how great Fugitive, and it's really the only perfect movie. And I was reading, I'm like, I haven't seen it in a long time, and it's probably good enough for for me to show my kid. There's really nothing in it objectionable. So we watched it, and sure enough, it holds up amazingly well. It's really good. The transfer was surprisingly great. From what, 94? Yeah.
It does look nice.
Not squeeze. I think I'm going to go blind from looking at eBay listings.
I know. I've been trying for years.
So it's not going to happen. But actually, the transfer is really good. So
it does scale up nice too. Yeah, I've zoomed it, and it looks good.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I always watch stuff zoomed on the projector, and it looks great. And God, it's so good. Every line, again, all classics. Just one of these movies where they throw you into Tommy Lee's team of marshals, and they're in their own buddy cop movie.
Yeah.
But they're throwing up lines as if we should know who they are. Like
this is their second movie that they've been in.
TV show, and these characters have all been together for an entire season. Yeah. And it's just so confident in itself. I mean, everything. You can't believe how early in the film all this stuff happens. Like the train wreck is like 12 minutes in.
Yeah, everyone always asks in LDF, well, hey, why is this side CAV? It's like, well, because the big action set piece is at the beginning of the film.
Exactly. So then I'm thinking, I hadn't seen it in a while. So I'm like, how are they filling the rest of this movie? I didn't remember, how many, tempo changes there are, and all the stops he has to make, all because basically pre-cell phone era, you can make a movie like this and have it stretch out over, a period of days and weeks of him on the run. Just amazing. Just worth a rewatch. And I don't rewatch a ton of movies that often, but now I feel like this should be in heavy rotation. As I talked about it earlier, my wife's like, I haven't seen that movie in ages. I don't remember anything about it. We're going to watch it. Really cool. That's really it. Just those 3 or 4, which is for me is a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a whole new era. Vinnie watching LDs.
Yeah.
Not just
there's all these movies that I just, some of them I refuse to rebuy because I think, well, eventually I'm going to show someone my family's going to want to watch The Fugitive. And it's like, I don't need to rebuy that, or I don't need to buy, a new version of Independence Day. So some things are just like perfectly fine keeping these as the definitives.
Nice. Well, good watching, everybody. You chose wisely. I mean, nothing tops the Celebrity Guide to Wine, but
No.
is what it is. You ready for a mailbag segment?
Yeah.
Yeah, see what the kids want to know. We did have some questions submitted on the Lasers Forever page, and our lovely correspondent, Spencer, decided to read them for us. So
Ooh.
we got some questions that Spencer's going to read for us, including this first one.
Sam Hatch rather cheekily asks, which Star Wars is the best Star Wars? And of course, he should already know.
That's me. Yeah, so I guess I am the one that wants to know which Star Wars is best Star Wars. And luckily, because I'm me, I already know the answer. Best Star Wars is...
I feel like it's asked so often that I forget. But then
it's the collector's box set that you can buy in Ryan's eBay store right now. So pick up the collector's box
Did
set.
you just sell one recently?
Yes, I did. I got a couple. Like I picked it up, and then I got like a couple more really cheap, and they just have sat. So
Yeah.
No, like it's a great transfer. It really is. It's funny. Like, but I think Chris, who was with us on the anime podcast, said it best. It's whichever one you reach for the first.
Yeah, it could be the special collection. It could be the faces. It could be. Yeah, I love them all.
Yep. I do really like the special collection because it seems the most un-Lucased of the Lucas films.
I have just the first one just to have it. I don't have the other two.
Which are you the special collection one?
Yeah. I have just the white Star Wars.
I on my shelf right now have the pin and scan.
Okay,
Pin
not
and scan.
that one.
That is not best Star Wars.
Star Wars, but it's the most compact Star Wars. And that is why it's on my shelf, because if I was going to watch it, I don't like how many sides it is. I like that movie, but I like getting to watch it all. And like, it's more likely that I will watch the whole movie if it's on just the two sides.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I only kept the CLV, the Technodisc ones. And I sold the faces, even though they're cool looking, but it's like, I didn't need them.
But those Leonard Maltin interviews, you got to have those, right? Yeah. Oh, right.
Is your Maltin complete, or is that Shallot complete?
Shallot complete.
Yeah, I was trying to go Shallot complete, and then I wasn't challenging enough, so I just bailed. There's only 8 of them.
Speaking of CAV and side changes, we got something else here.
Question number 2 is from Julian Brentlinger, who says, what is the difference between CLV and CAV, and how is it different upon the player?
Upon the player.
So yeah, CLV, CAV, and then what? Yeah, I wish we had Bill here because he actually does a little bit more calibrating, and I know he will calibrate for CLV and then check CAV discs after. So yeah, it does. I mean, obviously CLV is a little bit more complicated for the player because it's got to slow down and the laser's got to track a little bit differently as the movie progresses, and it slows down because CAV just goes the same exact speed, the entire time. But yeah, I don't know in terms of tracking, like and calibrating the optics, like what you do differently. But I don't know. What do you guys think about this whole thing?
Well, usually the CAV has technically what one consider the better picture, even though by the time they hit the later releases, I don't think it mattered near as much. And then you have the runtime differential. The CAV's 30 minutes, and you have to change sides 40 times. But
and CLV's got crosstalk, possibly.
Possibly,
yeah.
Especially if the disc is either warped or mastered poorly.
Yeah, CAV is never a huge selling point for me. If the extras are the same, why get up 20 times? If it's the same, all things considered, the same movie content, right? But I've tried A/Bing some things and super subtle here and there, but yeah, comes in handy for stuff like The Fugitive.
Sure,
when you want to try to slow some stuff down, but I'm not going out of my way to get a CAV unless there's other reasons why.
I think I used to do more still frame stuff back in the 90s. I don't really worry about that as much now. So I think it was a bigger selling point for me back in the day. But
Yeah, now we have Blu-rays that we can really like slow it down and zoom in on. So like we kind of cheat now, but you couldn't cheat back then.
Yeah. And I know one is angular and one is linear.
Yep.
What they mean.
I have one of my vast collection of laser topic books has a lovely definition of the two, and I will try and see if I can find which one has it, and then I'll put a scan in here. I'll do one.
Cool.
oh yeah, scan me some graphics. Yeah. But yeah, do you like flipping discs all the time, like Star Wars?
Really can't with that. Like I really enjoy the movie, and like I don't mind things like some things if it's like CAV, like there's some of the Disney ones which are kind of cool to have
Yeah.
the CAV on the Disney, and like I get it. I don't get me wrong, I get it on the Star Wars, because if you are a total Star Wars nut and you want to know how they made things, because I think that there probably for a while at least wasn't any of those making of or things that you could see behind the scenes, and the only way to really have any idea was to use your jog wheel and go real slow
Yeah.
and like step things and see each little frame like that, which you get more of the frame knowledge in the CAV, which is cool. But I just, for me to get through a Star Wars movie, I need it to be not more than the 3 sides or 4 sides that you end up with on some of those, I mean, I think it's just like, for whatever reason, I mean, I'm going to show it because it's honestly confusing to me how they even did it. How did they shrink it down to so small? But I think, oh no, did I do it? I have all of the Star Wars trilogy in one sleeve because that's how thin they are. You can have one disc. It's just shocking that this is one disc and this is one disc.
Wow.
Because they sped it up.
Yeah. Time compressed it. Yeah.
Everyone else is cringing right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I know they are, and that's why
The cover art's cool.
I'll admit to it.
Yeah.
The thing is, I have all of the other versions if I wanted to watch them in any other way. It's just for sheer purpose of like, if I'm in the mood to just watch it and it's like I'm at my apartment and not at my LaserDisc place of all the versions of Star Wars ever, because I have a shelf of all of them. I can watch any of them. It's just
You just choose not to.
And for being upstairs, I can't, the giant box set is a hindrance. So that's just me.
I've noticed too with CAV versus CLV in terms of disc warps. CLV, you get the crosstalk issues at the end of the side, but it's at least playing slower. CAV kind of warp discs turn into like this giant, like noisy, like experience at the end of the disc. It sounds like it's going to break your player sometimes. So I don't know. CLV, I don't really have any major problems with it. So picture quality. So here you go. All right, let's do another question.
Question number 3 comes from our resident wizard, Peter Biancardi, who asks, why did Sam Hatch sell out and buy an Eval board?
That's from our resident absentee Wolfpacker, Peter. Wants to know why I sold out and got an Eval board. Because he forced me to. He forced it. Actually, I stood fast for a long time and I resisted. I pulled a Vinnie and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put a computer in my living room and hook this up. But the opportunity was there and I just happened to strike at the right moment. So it was mostly the opportunity.
and you read the Facebook post, and unlike every other person who just commented.
Yes, because when Anthony put it up for sale, he said, send me an email if you want to buy this. And I was the only person that sent an email. Everybody else, PM'd or I don't know,
Right.
tied something to the leg of a crow, like Game of Thrones style. And so I was the first query across, and it just worked out well. So there you go.
PTSD from all the boxes I bought that Peter's told me to. The very first one was like 4 years ago. Was a Darby. You remember this?
Yeah, the Darby
So it was the Darby
Darby.
box.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hooked it up and put it up on my projector. I'm like, I don't know, Peter. It's not doing it for me. And that one went right back. But eventually I got to a point. I got to one box that I liked, and I'm good.
Well, I always, my joke is I won't buy the cool Peter thing to buy until he doesn't like it anymore. So in true form, I was like, hey, my Eval board's coming in the mail. He's like, Eval board's stupid. Mad VR is where it's at. So I was like, all right, good. I know
But
I'm
isn't
doing
he
it
using
right.
the Eval board to feed the Mad VR still?
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
it's all mad. So
Plus
Eval board's
there's-
not the cool hot thing anymore. So
There's the new one that they're talking about that they're looking to test.
yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. There you
That's
go.
a couple months out, right?
Yeah. All right, let's get another question going.
Fuzz Eval Roger asks, what LD era movie would you have wanted on the format? I wish Thrashing came out.
It's a pretty good one. Do you guys have an LD era movie that you want on LD? That's not.
So yeah, meaning in the time frame they still existed.
Yeah, it should have been released, but
Yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah, that's easy. Easy one for me is Eyes Wide Shut.
Hmm.
I mean, would have completed Kubrick and would have just made it in there in 99,
Late release.
2000. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. 99. They could have released that.
That would have been fitting.
Gone in 60 Seconds as like a
Mm.
friggin' Japan release only, and then like same thing with like the Jim Carrey Grinch. I really every year wish that was on Laser.
Oh.
Wow.
That one's just such warm heart every time. I love that one. And then I feel like Legend of Billie Jean just got so snubbed. Like, what the heck? Why didn't that get a friggin' release?
That is weird. There should be some like shitty image pan and
Pan and
scan.
scan. Yeah, exactly.
Man. How did that escape? That's a perfect LDR movie.
Yeah.
In the film, like mentioned, I was like, oh, what? They're like there's like in the background. Like,
I feel like this is like Mandela effect. I feel like I've seen that cover, but I guess it's VHS.
Probably put it on your Instagram.
Yeah, no, I didn't make one for that. Yeah.
but yeah, Garbage Pail Kids. I mean, clearly that's got snubbed as well. Classic garbage that would have gotten a VHS Plus release, like hands down.
We haven't had that was like a big thing for a while. People thinking that Garbage Pail Kids was out and fake covers, and people think the fake covers were real. And so
I mean, there's been so many debunked fake covers that I personally have been like, no, I know exactly what it is. That's exactly what movie that image was stolen from.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan?
Office Space for sure. Like it was
Nice.
1999. That would have been a perfect comedy. Like it probably would have been one of those like that people pay like $120 for just because it's like right at the end.
Yeah.
But that would have been good. And then going back a little bit, Vinegar Syndrome just released a movie in pan and scan called LA Wars. Oh, it's fantastic. It's explosions and fighting and guns. And it would have been perfect for the format, but they totally missed that one. So
Mine
taken. Oh, sorry. I was going to. You reminded me of 99 Galaxy Quest, same year.
Oh,
God,
Galaxy
yes.
Quest would be sick. Yeah.
Oh,
I usually choose like 99, 2000 movies, but the Last Dragon, Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, I would like to have on Laserdisc, and it's not on it.
As you say that, I'm picturing a Universal special collection of that.
There should be
What am I
one.
thinking of? I'm thinking of what am I
Dragon,
thinking
the
of?
Bruce Lee movie,
Oh yes, Red.
the signature
yes.
collection. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to make a fake cover of Last Dragon and put it on
that's
the
so
podcast.
weird.
Yeah.
I wonder if you go back maybe to some old magazines, like, or were they scheduled, never released,
And
just
canceled
why
or
would some
something?
movies
Yeah,
get
yeah.
skipped. That's weird.
It's weird, but
Well, we were
for
talking
later
about
ones. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Wild at Heart had the announced Elite or what was it? It got
Yes.
canceled.
Yeah.
And we're like, talk about a missed opportunity.
Dude. Yeah. But yeah, for the later stuff, Memento would be one I'd like to have on.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's 2000.
Yeah, 2000,
yeah.
I think. Yeah, somewhere like that. So
I would have one I thought randomly because I love Albert Brooks, and I realized I think all of his stuff to a certain point was out, but Real Life was never on, which was his first movie, which is fantastic. It's basically a parody of reality TV shows.
Yeah.
It's amazing, really funny and prescient. It would have been a shitty release, Columbia.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess I wish there was an American release of Get Crazy too, instead of that really hard to find Japanese one. But all right, this other character wants to know something.
Proterian King Ryan Cushing asks, where's Seth been? He's my favorite cast member.
That is a good question. Where is that guy?
I have a prepared statement from
Okay.
Seth.
All right.
The entire country of Sweden is working on the upcoming ABBA Avatar project, and it's taking up much of his free time.
All
I want
citizens
details.
were,
ABBA's going on tour and a new album and music video. So the whole
I
country.
thought it was like a
that's-
James Cameron, like ABBA Avatar combo.
No, like it's part of their global economy. It's like 40% of Sweden's economy, so the whole country's working on it.
Fair
I
enough.
thought it was because the herd immunity thing didn't work, and now they're all stuck in their houses again.
Oops.
All right. Well, we miss Seth. He's still part of the Wolfpack, and he's always near and dear in our
It's
hearts.
also very late for him.
Yeah, his
Early.
actual
Yeah.
was 2 a.m. is the start time for him, which
Yeah.
us it's like 8 or 7, or Maxine it's like afternoon there or something.
Yeah, she's just relaxing, taking it easy.
Just woke up.
All right, here we go. This one's Vinny's gonna like this one.
David Bates asks, as my collection gets larger and somewhat out of hand, I've been wondering more and more how many is enough. Do you have a cutoff point where you decide the collection is large enough? Does it just grow indefinitely? Do you sell one every time you buy a new one in a one-in, one-out plan scenario?
Ew.
Is the goal to watch them all, or just to have them standing by like your own private video store?
Yeah.
I think yes to all that. Standing by.
Yeah.
I have, so I stopped at what, 300, then 4, then 5, then 6.
Yep.
Now I'm just about 666, and I thought, well, that'd be good.
Hmm.
So I can't imagine I could, because really, to his point, I have been trying to get rid of some stuff. Like I thought about recently just getting rid of any pan and scans, basically.
Yeah, good call.
This might sound dumb, but really the only reason I keep some around is if I can get them signed one day. It's cooler to have a LaserDisc sign than a Blu-ray if you meet someone.
Heck yeah.
But I built this area to house these, and it's basically full. So it's like they're there to be displayed and looked at. And if I have to put them in a closet somewhere or put them in a place that no one's going to see them, then, or myself, then why, what's the point? So yeah, I think I'm pretty close. You guys, obviously there seems to be no ceiling.
I mean, I've been at 1,000 for a long time.
Oh, okay.
But then I think I have actually a little bit more than 1,000. So I think it's creeping larger in my mind.
Yeah.
I just kind of call it 1,000. I think I'm going to
But
call
then
it
yet
1,000.
every disc I pull out, you're like, I don't have that.
I see. That's the thing. Well, I was talking to Ryan. He still has like 750 he still wants, and he's got like an entire house full of discs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think when I get to 1,500, then I'll start calling it 1,500. So it's going to be 1,000 until I get to 1,500. So, but I'm running out of space, so there's really not that much I can do unless I move. So
right. But you guys, Ryan and Max, this is a side hustle for you guys, so it's a little different, right?
I wish it wasn't a side hustle.
I mean, some of it just is, funding the collection, and and I mean, obviously to me, like if I just completely exclude all of the stuff and only look at this room, like, is there enough? Isn't there enough? No, never, absolutely not. It's more. There's always more, because
there's always something.
Yeah. And every time I'm like, I mean, I have things where I feel like weird taste, because I do really like black and white movies, and so I have all my little like letter and collection cards that are like right in there. So I have all of everything is in genres, and I have a whole section of classics, and I have dramas, and I have actions and Rotarians and late releases and all these weird demo discs. And I mean, there's always something new and interesting to discover on this format. And I feel like if I put some weird like parameter on it, that takes a lot of like the joy that I just enjoy this so much. Discovering things. And there's so many films that I've never seen, never heard of. I mean, like, where would I ever get celebrity wine from?
Right.
Maybe the rental store.
Grab that if it was a VHS, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, VHS, like when I was a kid, like we had VHS, and like my friends' rich parents had LaserDisc, and like VHS, like we didn't really have like we had probably at most like 50, and that'd be like my grandparents having like 50.
Right.
But like, I mean, just this is so to me, like the LaserDisc, like it's the joy of looking at the cover out, whereas like VHS is more the spine, I feel like. For whatever reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I just freaking love this format. And there is absolutely like there's no ceiling until I literally like run out of space. Like I would make more space.
That's probably what I'll do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I would build a different shaped shelf. Like that's where I'm
Right.
at. I make things like these are like my purpose built shelves for this room because I have an 8-foot wall, so I have an 8-foot long, 2-tiered shelf. The one over here is 3 tiers. But yeah, I would just make something else. And like right now, like these are like I had other kind of things like on some of these shelves because I wasn't really like because I'm upstairs, I was trying my only parameters are just like weight parameters.
Yeah.
Gotta kind of be worried about that. So like I have some of my stuff where it's more of like common stuff or like I said where it's like a Star Wars thing where I know I'll have a copy of it for myself like if I want to watch it later. So and then in the secret disclosed location where ultimately that is where basically a big portion of more common titles where I like a lot of like even a lot of these gangster ones like I pulled from my shelf that I have there where it's more because I don't like I don't necessarily keep Goodfellas on the action shelf. Like a lot of the action shelf right now is probably like 80 or 90% more Broterian titles than really anything that's more common action stuff. Like I don't have Indiana Jones here just because like I have weight restrictions. So that's about the only restriction I put on myself. But it's not, if I could, I would put more, but
I get angry. Like you get to a point where I clear out my eBay watch list. Like I did this recently, even with UMax or some other people. I'll just, I need those. Let me get those 4 or 5, knock those off, and then I'm done. And then I had a Dr. Zhivago. I've never seen the movie. It's in every lot I get. I just kept selling it. And then finally, I'll keep it because I haven't seen it and I want to see it. It's a regular 2-disc sleeve.
Not the AC3 one.
On eBay, I find out there's an AC3,
which I have.
It's like a deluxe CAV box set.
Yes.
That I'd never seen before, or maybe just
whatever you want.
I'd never noticed it. So I'm like, well, now if I'm going to watch it, I'm not going to watch this version. I'm going to wait and get that. So yeah, it's just something they come out of the woodwork. Just
they do
additions and versions you've never seen, and like the Paramount later remasters kept suddenly all popped up. Untouchables and Chinatown and Apocalypse Now, and it's crazy. Like I don't notice Blu-rays I've never seen before. It's weird. Maybe because I'm not looking for them. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like it's like space. LaserDisc catalog keeps expanding, and every time you think you've explored every last section of it, it just expands, and there's more titles that were never there before.
Right.
And
you go down a path where you're interested in a genre, maybe that
Well, that's what like Max was saying.
The samurai genre. That's just something like a few Kurosawa. Like that's it.
Yeah.
But who knows? One day I might really get into that. Then I'm screwed.
Like Max was saying, it's like I'm into a lot of different things, and then I don't have a complete collection of most of those. So it's like I like anime discs, and I'm nowhere near even reaching completion of the things that I would want on that. And then music discs, there's still quite a lot of stuff I want. So yeah, unfortunately, it's not really at a place where I'm even close to thinking, oh, I don't want anything now. So
yeah, I saw this meme recently. It was a shot of like a section of houses in Malibu. Max, you've probably seen this. They're all like, none of them match. They're all just like weird looking houses. And the meme is like about music genres. And it's like, I'm into this and this and this. And they're all completely different.
Yeah.
Even like the garbage pail is a genre. And then the water beyond, everything's a genre. And you're like, if you like a lot of stuff, you're going to end up with so much. Like, I wish I was just a one note guy, but I'm not. I wish I just liked Proterian, but it's not me.
But even Ryan, who just likes Proterian, has like 7,000 of them.
7,000, yeah.
We
both said 7,000.
That's what you have.
That's what I'm going for, but I'm not quite there yet. It's one of those things. Like this was the first genre where I looked for a couple of things and I was surprised I didn't have them. And it was maybe because I had gotten them and didn't just sent them on because I was not my like immediate like focus. And one of the ones was I don't have a copy of Scarface. Don't know why. Maybe I never got the signature one. I don't know. But it's one of those things where when I get a collection, the first thing I do is I look through for things that I know I'm interested in. And then the second thing I do is look for things that might be interesting, even if they don't catch my eye now, but they're at least unique or interesting enough to keep because I've already invested my time in getting this collection. And then it's, all right, what can I get rid of? So I can break even and do this again because I'm not, this is not a business for me. It never has been. Trust me, it's not. I don't. If it was, I'd be out of business. But it's one of those things where like it's been so nice because when we pick a genre for the podcast, I'm like, well, here's a list of 15 I have. Like one of the podcasts, I made a list. I think it was probably the high school ones. I had like 40 that I just boom right there. There's 40 that I can go through. So, and I did. I visited some of the ones I would have not normally watched because they didn't have explosions. So it's kind of
I'm
nice.
surprised really at the Rotarian, at the amount of stuff. Like that seemed to be like the VHS domain.
Yeah.
LaserDisc, I imagine, was fairly expensive to produce. So I'm surprised that there's so many of those titles in pan and scan,
Yep.
Versions on LaserDisc when it was supposed to be this high-end format and people were buying them for their home theaters. And suddenly there's 20 blood sports or kickboxers. It's just weird to me. It's strange that genre snuck in there.
I think they rented well. I don't know if they necessarily sold well because it doesn't seem like they did. Like Bloodsport 2 and 3 are foreign releases and those are the only way to get them.
Right.
But Kickboxer 1 through 5, the fifth one was the only hard one to get. The rest like show up pretty regularly. And I don't know why the fifth one was so hard to get, probably because it was shitty, but that's besides the point. Like it's one of those things that the more I look, the more I find. And like I can just pick an actor like for example, Roddy Piper. I think I now have all of his movies, but it took a while because there's just a couple weird ones where it's like, this looks awesome, but the only one on eBay is $60. And I like Roddy Piper, but I don't need a $60 LaserDisc. I'll wait. I'll get it for $10 or I'll find it in a collection, So, and everybody's collection is different. And when you can find the people who didn't just collect the movies that we all watched, the Forrest Gumps, Bravehearts, Fantasias, etc., that's when it gets exciting because you'll find something like I no clue. Like I was telling one to Sam that's now on my wish list before the show that I didn't know was on LaserDisc. So, and no, I'm not going to tell anyone. Sorry.
Not until you get a copy.
Thank God my 750 item wish list is not public.
Yeah.
Nice.
So cool. All right. Well, I think we'll save some of the other questions because we got actually quite a few of them, but we don't want to be here all night. And thanks to our correspondent Spencer for putting those together. We'll be hearing more from him as we reveal more questions in future episodes. But let's move on to random stuff, hot topics, whatever sort of nonsense shenanigans you want to talk about. What's going on?
So End of Days is for sale on eBay again.
What's it at?
I believe, let me just confirm.
End of Days watch.
End of Days is at a very, very nice $169.
Oof.
Probably because somebody named me bid $166.50.
So it shot up.
It would go up the exact amount. But we're going to take predictions. How high is it going to go?
All right. What's it close?
One, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you have them. I don't watch it all the time because I don't want it, but 500? Didn't Nate or someone just sell one for like $445?
Yeah, supposedly 445. So my guess is 375. I don't think it's going to break 400.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Maybe two people from God knows
I'll go
where.
wild. I'll go 425.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So
what do you got, Max?
I'll say 300. I think.
All right.
I,
Taking the low.
Yeah, I think I'll take the low on it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Goes up Monday.
500.
Monday? Okay.
By the time this airs, it will still have a day left. So if you're looking for it, you've got a chance to get it. But
hot tip.
you might as well open your wallet and or your PayPal credit line.
Excellent. So yeah, End of Days. Get it now. It has AC3, right?
Yeah, it's got that special AC3 mix, if I remember correctly, like the 6.1
got
or
EX,
whatever. Or,
center rear channel. Yep.
Yeah.
And one disc or two disc?
2 disc.
Not a gatefold though, right?
No.
Yeah,
And
they always cheaped out. Yeah.
so if you do win it, make sure to
been
message
illegal.
the seller.
I know, right? We should
The
have some
two-disc
sort of
non-gatefold.
committee to make that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's like the odd genre of, I think my out of the past is the gatefold one, the single disc gatefold, which you
yes.
see once in a while.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is nice. It's a nice
Escape
treat.
from New York is like that. Top Gun.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Yeah.
the single disc gatefold. Extra padding.
Yeah, a little extra. And then there's the intro, like Jurassic Park, which is a double disc gatefold, but
I hate
one-
that packaging.
yeah, they're both crammed inside.
Yeah. My
one
DTS
pouch.
Jurassic Park, it looks like a truck ran over it.
Oh,
Tape
yeah.
all over it, but I didn't care. I just wanted DTS.
You know, I'm realizing that most of my DTS discs that I bought in recent years are usually trashed,
No.
except for that Vertigo that you tipped me off on.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty nice,
Okay.
but I don't know why people ride those so hard.
I think they just get thrown in with the regular discs.
Hmm.
Part of it, and somebody pulls it out. Because I mean, we're picking them up when they aren't listed correctly, usually for like $10.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
good
true.
point.
So like
Yeah,
they were with the regular Speed and Braveheart
Yeah.
and Forrest Gump. So,
Right. Just hold your breath that it's packed.
yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah, there was one other thing we were talking about, which was something I never even thought was a possibility. The notion that there are bootleg copies of THX
oh,
Wow
right.
that Ron
Yeah.
posted.
How does that happen?
Yeah, and interesting. Mine does have the disclaimer on the back that
What am I looking for on that? Oh,
it says
crap,
this disc is for use on THX audio systems only, and any unauthorized use is prohibited.
so that's real.
Yeah, it is on mine. But the interesting thing about this is that this was printed from way before AC3 and all that stuff came out in 1990, and they just kept reissuing it because dealers and stuff would have these, and they have inserts in them. Let me tear this open.
I cannot
And-
find mine. So
Usually there's insert that'll tell you when it was pressed. So mine's got a 93. You probably can't see it, but it's got a 93 date on it. So we
Yeah,
lost
so-
them.
apparently the ones from like 94, 95 don't have the
Don't have that disclaimer.
promotional disclaimer.
Yeah.
So there's
Go
no
to the
fake
closet.
bootleg THX discs. Just
Okay, I got the disclaimer, so that's real then.
Yeah.
they're all real.
They're all real. Yeah.
Oh, they're
so
all real.
Yeah.
I guess the later ones we were just saying from like 94, 95, we think don't have the disclaimer on there or something like that.
Oh,
But yeah, on the inside on the sheet, it has the date it was pressed at the bottom there. So
this is a piece of paper. This is very cheap.
what does yours say on the bottom of the front for the date?
Oh, 92. On the piece
92.
of paper, 92. Yeah.
Yep. So
Wow.
I got 93. You got 92
Oh,
because they
at
just
least $1 more.
they kept making them. Yeah, for like half a
That's cool.
decade.
I like
Look at
mine.
you.
I hadn't watched it in forever. I never watched it. Then I put it on. I was like, wow, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty
Have all
cool.
those movie clips in there.
The interesting thing is that it's it came out before THX the LaserDisc spec because it was about
interesting.
hustling the home audio system. So it's not a THX LaserDisc or anything really about THX LaserDiscs. It's only really about showing off the gear, the receivers and the amplifiers and
Right.
speakers. So
Yeah, and where did they sell it at? Like, because I mean, it says it's.
I think it was-
or-
yeah, I think it was only available for dealers and AV people. I don't think
I
you
don't
could
remember
actually buy
ever
it.
seeing it in store.
Because
So
I
that's
mean,
what,
there's 253 in collections, so it's not like they weren't everywhere.
well, that's
Right.
what I think they just kept making them, and then everybody in stores were getting probably multiple copies of them through half a decade. So yeah, they added up
It's
after
funny.
time.
We never Laserland. I don't remember this being in rotation in our theater room. We'd play
Yeah.
like that Paramount one to death or the MGM one.
Did you guys have
but
THX gear that you sold at all?
Yeah, we
or-
did. And
Yeah,
we did some installs and stuff, but I just don't remember this being a thing. But those other studio samplers I remember playing on sets all the time.
But it is pretty cool, and it's got some.
And
yeah,
the Mind's Eye was another one I hated. That was
Oh,
playing
yeah.
all the time.
yeah, you got to put that on there.
Bouncing balls and stuff.
On the wrong THX disc, by the way.
Oh,
Oh, nice. But yeah, there's lots of sound test stuff on side 2, and then it's got Tomlinson Holman, the man behind THX, in there talking about it, and James Earl Jones does some narration.
Ooh.
Cool one. Kind of
Yeah.
a staple, I feel like, as far as like if you were gonna get like just the common pack for like promo discs would be
Yeah.
like THX, the Paramount like one, and then
Mhm.
there's 3 MGM variations. There's a black cover, a purple cover, and a green cover.
Oh, I didn't know that. I only had the black one.
So there's 3. The purple is probably the most common.
Mhm.
The black and green, I mean, black being second most common, and then green being slightly harder to come by. But purple is the one
From
that
different years, so different movies featured.
I believe so.
Hmm.
They are. I have all three of them, but yeah, they're pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah, I like them.
yeah, those ones are good. And then I think probably the really just overlooked gem of all is laser optics too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, baby.
two.
Yeah.
You have a friend coming over, you're like, I'm gonna show you LaserDisc. Put that thing on before you while you're like readying your movie.
Yeah.
Like,
What's on optics? I don't remember what's on that.
just the best.
Best show in town.
Oh,
Yeah, like
okay.
great. It is absolutely.
It is good.
hilarious. It's every time I put that on for a friend, they're like, hell yeah, I want to watch this format. Like, they're so jazzed about it.
Yeah.
And because it's campy and it's like big letters that fly in the screen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like this family really tight on a couch because they got to get them in the shot, and like
Yeah.
it's just and the big and the huge television, like it's perfect. It's
The
perfect.
huge 27-inch TV.
And
Yeah.
it's, like, I think like free with like players. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty hard to again not find that one.
Yeah.
If
I don't think I have it. I gotta look for that one.
I will
Yeah.
say-
I was gonna say I had
You
a
have
couple.
like 20 of them.
I had extras. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of those.
I did I hate saying it because I don't have it. I've asked them a few times. We did a local TV spot for Laserland
Oh.
that I was in. I sit on a chair and then it's like the Maxell parody.
Oh, this is gold.
Basically, they rigged like a fishing line to my sweater, like a cardigan on, because I was supposed to be like the dad. I'm like 22 or so they like to turn the light on the screen and then someone pulls the fishing line, so as if the sound is blowing my clothes back. So cheesy, but like you buy a spot on like Cablevision at the time and they produce this commercial for you.
We need
But
images.
I gotta ask my old
Yeah.
boss. I'm still friends with him on Facebook. See if I gotta find that. It was
That's gold.
So bad.
We can run it through Mad VR.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, looked like it just came out.
That was the other hot topic. Peter was going to be here to
Oh yeah.
tell us all about Mad VR, but then he had to go, like I said, paint those fences.
I think I finally figured out what it is after ignoring it for
yeah.
about a month. I think I get what it does now.
Yeah.
I
Well,
wasn't
I mean,
sure how it helped him with LaserDisc, but I think I understand that now.
yeah. Is he actually watching LaserDisc with it yet? Or less than knew he was just messing around with UHDs and stuff like that.
He's
but,
ripping them so he can watch them later.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
so he-
okay. Yeah.
He can do it real time, but he can rip 2 movies at a time the other way, and then later on just queue them up and not have to worry about side changes and things.
Eh,
Pretty cool.
Yeah, but
yeah. The whole fun of it is doing the side
Right
changes.
at that
yeah,
point,
yeah.
just stream it. Yeah.
Yeah.
but it makes sense. But it's
I almost got into HTPC like in the late 90s, early 2000s. But one of the things that stopped me was like investing in PCs isn't really
Yeah.
an investment. The gear I bought from 1999, I still use. I've got a Rotel receiver over there that I still use. If I bought an HTPC back then, that would have been at the dump a long time ago. So
You can't use a computer from 3 years ago.
yeah. So unless you really like throwing money out the window,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not really much of an investment. So
Right.
it's a very short-lived moment where you've got the coolest, hottest stuff
Right.
for about 5 months. So
yeah, and the video card that you want to run is always sold out and prohibitively expensive because
Yes.
it's always sold out because you always get the latest greatest, and it's
Yes.
just it's a chase that you never win.
yeah, it's like a heroin hero on South Park, just chasing that dragon. So yeah, so that's kind of why I didn't get it. But the other thing is, part of my joy and love of the media is actually using the media instead of like a facsimile thereof or altering it in real time and streaming it and stuff. Like I don't know, I actually just want to watch the laser. Oh, yeah, we make fun of people that well, we don't make fun. We never make fun of people, but people that make backups of LDs, and we're like, why?
Right.
Just watch the LD. Like,
Yeah.
why make a backup of it? But that said, I've made DVD backups of LDs before, but for fun stuff. But I don't know, it's just not my bag, I guess. But
Right.
Mad VR, it's supposed to be cool. Anyways,
It's mad.
yeah.
It's mad cool, like mad in a good way.
I feel bad. Like we took a big dump on it. Like later on in the week, Peter's gonna be like, I watched you guys and you were talking shit about my Mad VR. And we're going to hear about it.
We'll let him figure out all the kinks first, and then we can just copy it
exactly.
for half the price. I mean,
yeah.
When he moves on
we'll
to
get the small
when he moves on to
version.
something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else is new? Donnie Brasco looks bad on 4K TVs. I learned. I don't know if you guys learned that.
Maybe not.
You guys watched Donnie Brasco. How'd it look?
I thought it looked pretty good.
All right, good.
And I watched it raw.
Got to make a short list. There's guys, I always forget their names, but there's like 2 or 3 guys who have 4K TVs. They watch LaserDisc on them, component in, deposit in, looks great.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do anything with it, you know, and so I always use those as examples. Like if you don't really have to overthink this if you don't want to.
It looks really good on that stupid cheap 4K TV, like right behind me. Like I just plugged right into that thing. And it looks great. So
sometimes, like if you don't spend a lot of time trying to screw it up, or calibrate your display.
I also calibrated that with Video Essentials.
Oh my god!
So that's
night and day if you can get the color right. Like
yes,
yeah. If you can get the blacks to match, so that like when you are watching pan and scan or whatever, and it's dark and it's not like, hey, this is all washed out or not. Like that's like step 1. Like holy cow, it makes a big difference.
Hey, I appreciate Vinnie throwing some views to my channel whenever there's a aspect ratio incident, like Stinggate. This week we had
for a
Stinggate.
while we were it was quiet, and now I feel like every few days we got to throw it up there.
Yeah,
because I'm not sure how people get to the site. I mean, for me, I don't have it in my normal feed. I just go to the page, so I see that pinned post every day. I see the Ryan's face or your face. It's like always at the top of my feed, but I know people don't use it that way. It's just sort of whatever comes into their feed. So they might never look at it. They never read the FAQ, even though they say they do. So yeah, every once in a while you have to post it back up. I get a few cents on the dollar for all that ad revenue.
Yeah, I would definitely give you some commission kickbacks. So yeah, good deal.
We dodged the Song of the South bullet, thankfully.
That was the next hot topic. Song of the South, baby. I hear it's rare.
They were just gone for a while, and then they come back.
Yeah. Expensive does not mean rare. It just means sometimes desirable. Like the Matrix.
I was gonna say, I really wish everyone would just listen to there's a podcast about Song of the South. It's about 6 episodes, and it's fascinating. It's a great history of film in this country, and a history of the country, and race. And it's like it's so obvious when you just hear it in context of what was happening, and people would just not be so surprised that how could that people are so upset about this. It's not that hard to understand, really. I get that people want to own it, and if I saw one, I'd grab it to have, but they can't keep pretending to be shocked when it goes off the rails.
Yeah, and it's been the hot rare thing ever since I remember. Yeah, even back collecting in the day.
Right? I mean,
that's the thing. They made
so many of them.
Tons of them. It was a mass-produced Disney product. It just happened to not be released in the States.
Right.
They released tons of those. A lot of them were imported back in the day, and I remember hanging out on home theater for them back in late 90s and stuff. And that was like one of that and Giorgio Moroder's Metropolis were the only 2 LDs anybody was after at the time, because at that point it wasn't out on Metropolis was just on like VHS and LD. And so there's tons of them.
There are over 200 in collections. So it's just people either want it for Disney's sake, they want it for shock value sake, or they might genuinely be curious and they're willing to fork it out, because you can buy bootlegs and stuff, but it's not as fun to buy a bootleg. Let's be honest.
And there's a couple. There's 2 different Japanese versions.
Yep.
And a Hong Kong version, which was supposed to be the rarest of the rare, but now we're starting to see more people with that.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Great song.
Yeah, there you go. Good jams.
Watch Fletch Lives if you want to hear this.
Now the other thing we should mention is people were speculating on the inclusion of Zippity Doodah in other Disney product. Like there's a LaserDisc with the songs.
Yes.
So people were speculating whether or not they should start collecting those. I forgot which disc it is that has all the kind of best of Disney songs.
Right.
That'll be the next
sing-along song or something.
Yeah. So now that's going to be the new hot thing, going for like $300. Yeah.
I believe it might even be on DVD in the sing-along song format. So no.
Yeah. So.
Or go to the theme park. It's still there, I think.
There you go. So yeah, Song of the South. It was a thing.
He squashed it.
All right, you guys ready? We're gonna do Vinnie requested this. It's something we do a lot of times anyways, but we're gonna do it anyways. We're gonna show off any kind of non-LD things that you bought. If you happen to pick up anything that was non-Laserdisc, just film related or what have you.
Physical.
Yeah, physical
Yeah,
media,
obviously, we're
a
not holding
celebration
up,
of physical media.
Flash drives. Yeah.
I'll go quick. I'll go first. I got a couple things, nothing too much. I didn't get a lot of vinyl in the past couple of weeks, sadly, but I did get let's see what we got. Mr. Robot, the final season on Blu-ray. Really, really good Sam Esmail show with Freddie Mercury in it. This for some reason never goes on sale. All the other ones I was able to get super cheap, but the fourth one
I was such a huge fan of that first season. I got everyone I knew to watch it, and then it started to get weird, and I didn't finish it. So maybe I got to go back and finish
it.
it.
You should go back in. Yeah, it's got some Fight Club in its DNA for sure. And
yeah, sure.
That sort of
that
thing.
first season is just phenomenal.
Yeah, and I got a Hamilton book thing. I for some reason never picked up the Pray for Death Arrow release that they had wicked cheap. Great Sho Kosugi film. Let's see if we can get that a little closer. Yeah, I think it's like $4 or something like that for a sweet Arrow release. I got this for my wife. She was telling me about this movie, well, one of these movies for ages, and I finally Googled it and figured out she was talking about Encounter with the Unknown, which was a 70s TV thing, anthology film narrated by Rod Serling, and the second feature of the three stories is like basically this farmhouse, like it's like a Lassie movie with a gate to hell in it. There's a creepy like hole to hell like in the backyard. It's really weird stuff. And then of course Sasquatch, the Legend of Bigfoot. Code Red did these, so that means that they'd like to do the stuff where they don't do any restoration at all. They call it the grindhouse scan, where they just scan it as is. So it's it's pretty faded and gnarly looking, but I was like, it's actually on Prime as well, so we watched it on there, and then I just happened to see they had a copy on Blu-ray, so I grabbed that. I almost paid like $30-40 for this from Newberry Comics, but Forbidden Zone Ultimate Edition, which has the CD, which is Richard Elfman, who's brother of Danny Elfman of Oingo Boingo and film soundtrack score fame, and Hervé Villechaize is in this. A very, very artsy, weird film. It's in black and white, but this version has a black and white and color versions, and it's got the Oingo Boingo soundtrack on a CD inside, and then a Blu-ray of the film itself. It's really bizarre
was
stuff.
Colorized or filmed in color and
yeah, it says black and white and color transfer of the film, so I assume it was filmed in color and then released black and white. I picked this up even though everybody hates it. This pressing, at least the what was it, Cinema Libre edition of Betty Blue, Jean-Jacques Benet film, which is of course the director's cut is out on Criterion Collection with a horrible cover compared to this poster. When I used to go to this place, Pix Poster Seller in Boston, was always a bestseller. Everybody wanted this poster. Part of the French Cinema du Look group, like alongside Luc Besson's early work, and same director who did Diva. But apparently this has like not the best transfer it's ever, but it's the theatrical cut, so I want to get a copy of that. And almost done. I got Krull. This is a Mill Creek edition, the ones they have with the fake VHS slipcase, but it's supposedly actually a really good transfer, so I grabbed that. And I've been trying to complete my Michael Mann films, so I grabbed the commemorative Ali edition, and I grabbed Jericho Mile, which is his first movie, which was actually a television movie with Peter Strauss. So it's like a prison film with prisoners like running and doing some sort of marathon. But this led directly to him doing Thief, like kind of hanging out with prisoners and doing research and stuff. So let's like to get that. And finally a DVD, Dead of Night, which is a Dan Curtis film. We were getting excited to watch in Trilogy of Terror movies. And the second Trilogy of Terror has a repurposed short film from this. This was another television anthology that I had never seen before. And Ed Begley Jr. is in one that's more of like a Twilight Zone-y kind of science fiction thing about a guy who time travels. It's got a little bit of Back to Future in it. He time travels in a car back into the 20s, and it's got a lot of stuff crammed into a short story, but pretty cool stuff. And Patrick Macnee plays a guy who thinks there's a vampire out to suck his wife her blood dry every night, and that was really good. And then the one that was repurposed is Bobby, this woman that's grieving the death of her son who drowned, and she turns to black magic to return him, and really, really moody, and it's got that like super 70s house that it's set in, and it's really effective cinema stuff. So yeah, good TV stuff. And it's got a television show Dan Curtis did that had the same name, Dead of Night, that he pitched in the late 60s. They did a pilot and they threw that on here. It was supposed to be like a paranormal investigator show. It was like 3 characters that were all, going and checking out spooky haunted houses and stuff, and figuring out what's going on. It's got a lot of the same cast as Dark Shadow. So the bang for our buck from this thing was pretty impressive. We had a blast with that. So that's about it for physical media, I think. What do you pick up, Ryan?
Our sponsor here. Let me see if I can actually spotlight this.
You get some Vincent?
Maybe, yeah. They had a new month, new releases, and mine shipped Wednesday and made it here today via FedEx, which is a small miracle knowing all the delays we've seen.
Yeah.
So I got the subscriber package plus 1 little extra, and then actually 2. First and foremost, they sent out for free, no like interaction needed by me, the Beastmaster replacement disc, because there was an error on the one. So I didn't have to interact with them. They just sent it. Like they knew that mine was bad and they took care of it. Like, so nice to not have to fill out a form and wonder if it's going to ship. Just came with my next package. So that was really, really cool. And then I got Sweet Satan's Blood. Never seen it.
Damn.
Looks really cool. And so that'll be interesting. Got Dark Tower, which apparently hasn't had like a really good scan ever until now. So another interesting thing I haven't seen. Cool looking art. And then something I'm really excited about, Cthulhu Mansion.
Yes.
This is the one that I had talked about finding the LaserDisc of. And now I've got like an actual like legit Blu-ray. So
awesome artwork.
I imagine it'll look a lot better too. Yeah. Maybe just a little bit.
Maybe.
And then the VSA that came out this month, the House of Usher. So not part of the subscriber package, but discounted to subscribers. So, and these are all the ones that come with like the sweet slipcover.
Yep.
It's like more of a rental style
slipcover porn.
Yeah, I got number 15 of 4,000, so that was kind of cool.
Whoa.
But the VSA releases are I've liked a lot of, because they come with a little poster inside and they're just really, really cool releases. So I can't say enough about them. I'll talk about them every week if I can, because they're just great. And then I got a DVD, Bloodsport 4, so that I'm
the Dark Kumite.
That way I'm Bloodsport complete. So it's pretty important. It was not on LaserDisc. I think this might be like 1999. So odds of it showing up in Indonesia are slim to none. But I've got the DVD to hold me, just to make sure I know like the end of the story.
Necessary.
But so those are my pickups. This non-LaserDisc pickups. Maxeene,
did you get any records or anything?
I did not get any records. But I have this that I rediscovered. I've been, cleaning things up, we'll say, and basically discovered this new line.
Sick.
Nice.
It's reversible.
What?
Fine line on the inside.
Nice. It's like you want to be highbrow or lowbrow. You just pick.
Yes. Fine line or
new line.
Amazing.
That is cool.
So yeah, this was one I lost for a very long time. I have a bunch of hats. I like hats. I have hats. Oh, actually, I'll show this one because I never showed this one, I don't think. This one's cool. It's like a painter's cap. It's image.
Oh, sick.
Oh, nice.
Which is
dude.
Like so
I remember wearing a painter's hat. Like that was a thing for a little while.
I know. That was, but it's stretchy.
Yep.
It's small. Okay, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have
cool.
a lot of hats, and things that are more just like film related, like have like a GI Jane like embroidered hat and like
Mm.
scroll one. But yeah, I lost that one, the reversible one, for like a really long time, and I just rediscovered it, and I was like, wow, this is freaking cool. Like, where did this come from all this time? It's one of my favorites. But yeah, I
Cool.
don't obviously everyone knows that I've
No Blu-ray.
so, and like vinyl, vinyl is one where I love vinyl, but my shelf situation that I have here at the apartment is basically I cannot fit any more records. They are spilling onto the floor, and like until I get a more shelf space for that purpose, that had to stop. So
What about that new Minus Light LP or EP that's coming out?
I obviously left shelf space for that. Press like very soon. There's still a few left, I think.
Oh, I should put up the link.
Yeah, put up the link. But
Yeah.
it's pretty well close to completion. But they're going to do test pressings here very soon.
Nice.
So really, if you guys to hear the test pressing, and then once that's okay, then they're getting pressed. So
Very cool.
I'm really, that's going to be like, that's literally the dream. And I hope that this company's been really cool. Diggers Factory has been awesome. And like the whole campaign is all crowdfunded. Everything they do is that way. And I'm really hoping that, you know, this like turns out incredible. And then we can do more records, because I mean, Minus Light has done cassette releases, but this is the first like vinyl release. And the first record that we're releasing on vinyl has never been released on any physical format. So this will be the one and only option.
Nice.
Fame has a cassette release, and Dragons, Unicorns, Devils, Wishes is the EP. And those are all the song title names. But that one's actually good. It's just 4 songs, so it's good. It's a really good listen. But yeah, Fame's
Cool.
one. We have actually more that we're working on right now, but that'll be later.
Look at you.
Sweet.
I take it there's a Bandcamp page or something we can.
We've been doing Bandcamp for a while, but I mean, if you want to hear any of the records that are out, if you have, you know, Spotify or Pandora,
It's on there.
services, and we have some dope videos on the YouTube that we actually, the one for Confusion is probably one of my favorites. We used Super 8 to
Nice.
film it, so we did telescene and everything for that, and it turned out like colors on it, like I have red makeup in it, and then the colors are just so vivid and cool, and it's like shown outside. It's worth checking out if you haven't checked that out. But
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
What do you get, Vinny?
Let's start with a book.
Cool.
It's up Spencer's alley, called This Was Hollywood. So this is a book based on a pretty cool Instagram feed. So if you follow at This Was Hollywood, lots of cool old Hollywood stuff. And this is a book version that TCM put out. Lots of cool stories in here. Just looking at the first Academy Awards, which was, you know, took 5 minutes to hand out in a hotel ballroom somewhere. And I was thinking, like, they should just do that this year. They're going to go ahead with it somehow, but might as well just like get everyone tested and put them in a room and just hand them out, you know.
Knock it out. Yep.
Yeah, why not? Because they're movies no one has seen anyway. This year, especially, is, you know, I'm way behind on my highbrow Academy stuff. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely some cool things out there that are coming on VOD soon. The Carey Mulligan movie, Promising Young Woman, is on VOD. That Tom Hanks Western is coming. So there's cool stuff out there. Quickly, I posted about this, but the Behemoth, the Christmas gift for film snobs this year was the Fellini box set from Criterion.
I forgot to show I got the Friday the 13th box set, which is just as highbrow as that.
It's basically, that was it. It was either you either get Fellini or you get Friday the 13th.
But I left that downstairs, so I apologize. Everyone knows what that looks like, though.
Yeah, 14 movies in here. I mean, the packaging is unbelievable.
Looks like
the first one I got, oddly enough, was missing a disc. It was missing a movie.
How's that happen?
But, I don't know, because they must be hand packed. I mean, it's so detailed. It's like there's no way this can be sort of machine packed. So there was just one movie missing. Went back to Barnes and Noble and got it. But yeah, it is packed like a board game. You just keep going and going, and there's like this guidebook and you know, and then there's I don't know what this is. Oh, this is essays. It's just crazy.
Do you have a favorite out of the bunch?
I have, I've only seen a few. I have Amacord and 8.5 on DVD. 8.5 is amazing.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of these I've not seen that I'm, have to see. Some of the later ones I haven't seen. La Dolce Vita is great, of course.
That's my favorite. 8.5 would be right behind it, though.
8.5 is really cool. And I even remember, I think I saw Stardust Memories first. So I didn't realize what Woody was basically doing 8.5. And
yeah,
they're both, super interesting for that reason.
Cool.
What else? Facebook ads work. This thing every day. I'm like,
that doesn't look legit.
Yeah, I'm not a big Star Wars nerd, but my kids, because of Mandalorian, I think they're gonna eventually want to watch these again. And I showed my son the first few on LaserDisc, and I'm like, I don't know. It's just good to have handy, if I don't want to be up changing sides, or if they just want to come down here and throw it on, to at least have them watch the right version. I don't want them seeing
the Disney Plus version is not the right
I
version.
wouldn't want them
McConkie,
because that's probably what they would do.
Yeah,
of course, but they don't know any better. They don't know there's not supposed to be a big computer Jabba walking around. So just for posterity's sake, I haven't watched it yet. I'm sure it looks decent. I think it's 720p.
Oh, yeah. It looks really good.
Yeah, cool. Salvation Army, I hadn't been to one in a while. The last time I was there, I forgot to check my disc. There was nothing in it, of course. This time I went in there, I swear the first 3 or 4 things I picked up were empty. And good stuff, like the Master, things I didn't have, but they were empty. But then I did find a few. They were on sale for $1. Count of Monte Cristo. Again, all with an eye towards showing these to my son, because I think he's definitely in the sweet spot now to see a cool
Snapper case
heist movie. Snapper. Ocean's 11. It feels too new to be in a Snapper, but I guess not.
That was 2001.
Listen, it's so satisfying.
Yeah.
The click.
I had Monte Cristo and Ocean's 11. I sold them both. I don't know why.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I mean, for $1.
Yeah.
Signs. He keeps saying he does not want to see scary movies. He's just convinced he won't like them. It's probably right, but this will definitely put a scare into him, I think.
That's just gonna let him down.
You think?
No. I remember that was
it's got that big jump scare with the alien in the TV.
I saw it in the theater. That did a number on a bunch of people.
That was the first movie that I got to see pirated 2 weeks before it came out in the theater, because it was a big deal. And the copy was so bad that it just ruined the movie for me. But I remember it when movies were on I think it was even before Kazaa. You download them, and they'd be really shitty cam rips or whatever.
I would know. I never downloaded it.
Oh, I'm sure. But I mean, I was 14 or 15, so and that was the first one that came out really early, and we watched it, and we were just like, "Yep, let down. Piracy is not as good as it's cracked up to be." But,
and then you realize, it really is someone in the movie theater. HD DVDs. Whenever I can find one that's not Warner Brothers, I'll grab it. So Seabiscuit, great book. I like the book better, but two different.
The book has the moving tower of shit, which I wish was in the movie.
Right.
Basically, all the jockeys would go inside this giant mountain of poop. Because it would allow them to sweat off the pounds and they'd be able to race faster. And there was this huge flood or storm or something, and it uprooted the giant mountain of shit. And it actually raced around the oval as if it was in the middle of a giant shit race.
Yeah.
And, I wish that was in the movie.
Yeah. A bunch of inserts in here. It tells you to go get a firmware update.
Oh yeah, definitely do that.
Yeah. Authentic DVDs, keep it real. This is don't get burned. Visit dvdinformation.com.
Yeah, don't hang out with Ryan.
So was that sealed?
A lot of literature in here. It was in the Salvation shrink wrap they do. The little thing on there. So that. And then I grabbed a bunch of I think I told you guys the Kino. I had these 2 in my Kino cart forever because I love these. This is Death on the Nile.
Nice.
And Evil Under the Sun, 2 Agatha Christie classics I used to watch on cable. I've got these on LD, actually. They're pan and scan. So those I should probably get rid of because now they're just taking up 2 valuable spots.
You got more room for 2 more LDs.
Yeah, but I really wanted these. And it's $14 more to get the free shipping, and I threw Gotcha in there.
Ah, nice.
So this is one of those, I really have no idea if it's what I remember it to be. As a kid, this is the coolest thing. Let's see if it holds up.
Paintball, playing spies on campus. Yeah, that was the coolest thing ever.
It's director's commentary. 2 separate tracks, one with the director and one with a journalist. Wow, it deserves 2 commentaries. Okay.
Because it was based on a real event that was happening, right? There was
Yeah,
at college campuses and kids were going around doing these paintball spy games.
Yeah. That's
Get
cool.
rid of your pan and scan LaserDisc too.
There you go. There's a third LD space.
That one I don't have.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was, you realize there are certain movies you've never seen in the right ratio if you only saw them on cable growing up and didn't see them in theaters.
Yeah, I didn't see Lost
That's one
Boys
of
in the
them.
right ratio till like, I don't know, who knows when.
Yeah, well, that I saw in the theater. So.
You're cool.
But I don't
wish
remember
I was...
the color. I don't remember the color timing in the sound mix.
Yeah, tell me what the color timing was.
Dark and moody.
Good times.
Yeah, that's it.
Anything else? All right, cool.
Cool. I like that segment.
All right. Let's let everybody know any final thoughts, what you're going to spin next. I'm going to keep the gangster thing going because I want to do Godfather 3. So, deal with the Sofia Coppola. But I've been tearing through that box set. I might as well keep going. So that's going to be my next thing. And Ryan's looking for something. What are you going to watch? Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch this, and it was in my hey, chill this on the podcast because it's cool.
Yep.
And so I wasn't going to watch it until I showed it off, and now I will because I've really wanted to see this.
It's cool. It is like very different than Reservoir Dogs. It's like it's all the stuff that you don't see in Reservoir Dogs. So it's kind of cool. It's like a nice counterpart.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Maxeene?
I'm gonna watch Reservoir Cats like Ryan.
Do it.
I'm gonna watch the Godfather trilogy because I didn't get to make the time for it. I'm gonna watch it. I want to watch that.
You gonna do the one Ryan did, or
Do not. Seriously.
I have them prepared.
nice? Yeah.
All 3.
Awesome.
My cat. Okay.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the right ones.
That's on my watch list, and then the other one that I was looking at was also Bugsy. I pulled that, so that's probably what I'll watch later on as well.
Cool.
But
Nice.
lots.
My head says Heaven's Gate, but the running time is 3 hours and 39 minutes. So if I come down here at like 9:30 on a weeknight, I will probably end up watching the 1 hour and 35-minute Trigger Effect. So
Nice. Yeah.
So we'll see who wins out, Harder or Head. I
Very
really
cool.
do have to see Heaven's Gate. I just feel like it's such a piece of cinema history that I just really need to get that under my belt.
Yeah, I need that LD actually. I don't have that, so
Yeah.
let me know how it is.
Doing a lot. Yeah, I've heard it's good. And it's THX, AC3, 339. Wow.
It's a little bit later, right? Late 90s reissue, or 97, 98?
97.
All right.
Yeah, I'm often disappointed that there are so many discs. I find when I go to look for a date, there's no date.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Disney does that. Drives
Yeah.
me crazy.
No idea.
Yeah.
So 97. Cool.
Yeah, like 30% of the running times of my videos are me just staring at the back of the jacket, like,
Right.
yeah, I don't know, maybe. What's our laser cat visiting us? What's her name? His name?
King.
Oh, hello, King.
King, look at the camera. He's so fixated. He loves chewing on my hair, which is terrible, but he just loves it. So.
Any final thoughts anybody wants to say, or
I don't think so.
all right, cool. Well,
Said it all.
yeah, today everything is different. I'm an average nobody. Get to live the rest of my life like a CD schnook.
Which version of My Way will we be playing?
Whichever one that won't get me kicked off of YouTube or have
Right.
them take my
Neither.
yeah.
I flipped it my way.
I like it.
So not the Limp Bizkit My Way.
We definitely need more Limp Bizkit.